ないといいなみんな位置について現場は静かに静かにもう揺れないといいなみんな位置について現場は静かに静かに Hey, I said quiet. You light up the city sky shining bright like a supernova. Your love is a force of mine, making my heart race like a motor. Chains can't hold me down, with a flick I'll break free. Every villain in this town better step back and let us be. Don't feel calling, don't be shy. It's happy hour, and here's why. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Your love's a shockwave, making hearts beat faster. Whoa, 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 my heart's in overdrive. Searching through the neon glow, my heart burns like a fire. I'll melt the shadows, you know, with the love that never tires. We're going on a quest to protect what we cherish, but don't lose sight of our best. In the dawn, let our worries perish. Don't feel calling, don't be shy. It's happy hour, and here's why. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Your love's a shockwave, making hearts beat faster. Whoa, 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 my heart's in overdrive. No force can shatter the peace we have found. Our bond is like a tether, stronger with each challenge. Don't feel calling, don't be shy. It's happy hour, and here's why. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Your love's a shockwave, making hearts beat faster. Whoa, 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 my heart's in overdrive. On this journey we defend our love strong and bright. Bring back the joy, my friend, let's ignite the night. Don't feel calling, don't be shy. It's happy hour, and here's why. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Your love's a shockwave, making hearts beat faster. Whoa, 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 my heart's in overdrive. I wonder if Josh is gonna make this time.
You know, I don't know if Josh wants to see this or not. It's terrible. I mean, they're even talking about his precious South America here, and this is dangerous what they're up to. To talk about this danger is Miss Nerdigans here to bring us up to speed on just what the hell Genshin Impact is.
Genshin Impact, what's happening is pure insanity. We've seen this multiple times, and with every new region that Genshin Impact does, which is based similar to like what we see with Pokemon, where they base it on different countries. Every time we see SJWs get all pissy about, oh, there's no melanin. Where's the melanin at? And of course, you have the fix-it artists come in and race swap. And it's really disgusting. Don't ever do that. Don't race swap. And in this region, though, this new region here is more so in Latin American based. And if you know anything about the Latin American community, especially on Twitter, they do not tolerate this stuff. They don't tolerate when SJWs especially appropriate their culture and try and tell them that they're all a certain color. Because I know Latin Americans of like every different shade, including, you know, Black Latin Americans. And they're like, dude, you guys they're calling them out as racist too. And I've seen fix-it artists say, yeah, so what? I don't care, and just move on. And
that's what I was going to point out, is that a lot of these people are not genuine with this. They are more interested in simply seeing characters of a darker skin tone than they are the actual representation they're talking about. And one thing we need to highlight here is that these are not South American characters. These are not African characters. These are characters that belong to a fictional realm called Natlan. They take visual inspiration from these countries, but nobody at any point in history was walking around South America or Africa dressed
Or
like
Central
this,
America,
or
or
Central America
yeah, because
dressed
this is
like
more
that.
Central America than anything else,
Right.
I believe.
Mulani. So again, like this is not something you're going to encounter at any point in history. This is incredibly stylized, borrowing some iconography from that area. This is not the same as Assassin's Creed, who is wholeheartedly stealing protected iconography and protected imagery to
Yeah.
stuff into their stuff. So, and so these kids are something else. They started up a petition over on change.org, and it is about to I'm trying to get to it here.
Oh, it's
Sorry.
about to hit their goal of like
Yep.
75,000.
Yep.
I looked at it and I did a thread on it. Oh my god, it is like pure projection. And you can tell that these people aren't Genshin Impact players based on the background and the problem, because it says gamers, and in terms of like who it's offending, and in terms of the background, it says gamers and indigenous culture, and I'm peoples. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. You're saying that gamers and indigenous peoples are offended by this?
Yep.
Something's not adding up here.
Mm-hmm. And well, this was one of the things that occurs to me. Of course, it's a Reddit. Gotta love Reddit, just polluting the internet with its stupid hyperlinks. Gotta love it. So I think here we go. Here's the meme. So you'll this kind of encapsulates just what these kids are on about. So here you go. So now I can finally feel myself represented when they race swapped Ariel, and then meanwhile here's like all men on Earth look at Gohan and they go, "That's literally me."
Yeah, they do it with Goku as well.
Yep.
Like it's crazy. And then you see that, oh, we'll get to it with like Ranma Half and Senpai isn't a Tokudoko a little later, but you see this with the trans activists too. It's just insane on how much they want to like literally see themselves in it and like project their identity onto these characters.
Yep.
And it's like, no, that's not what you're supposed to do. Like, I'm a Jew, okay? There's barely any Jewish representation in characters. Mind you, like, something that's amazing is I see Hebrew, which is my language. So when I see Hebrew, like in, say, Miramashita Arumakan, which is heavily, the magic and lore is heavily based off of my culture. And when I see that, it's like, oh, that's so cool. Like, I could, that's my stuff. I could see it. And when there was Hebrew in Chojin X in the Beast Chojin ritual, I was like, I can read that. That is awesome. And there's Hebrew actually in if you read the Soul Leveling webtoon, you'll see it on the tablet right when Junwoo is going into the dungeon. There's Hebrew written on the tablet. So like when I see stuff like that, I'm like, that's my culture there. I feel represented. I don't need to see like a literal Jewish character up in there. I feel represented just seeing like seeing series, like I see a lot of it in magical series. So I'm like, where's my Jew powers? I'm still waiting for that. I see it when I see like Hebrew lettering in different series. I'm like, that's my culture. I love it. I love seeing little things like that, or stuff based off off the Torah and stuff like that. That's what I mean. Like, I don't need to see my skin tone. I don't need to see even though there is a Jewish character in Black Lagoon. It's nice, but I don't need to see it everywhere. Like, these people need to see themselves, like, see their literal skin tone everywhere. And it's an unhealthy fetish, and it's really disgusting.
Well, here's the problem with this petition, okay? The Genshin Impact player distribution by region chart, as provided by Active Player IO, feel free to go over there and check it out right now. You can look this up yourself. This is how these things are distributed. Now, in 2023, the active player count was 66 million for Genshin Impact, okay? So of that 66 million, the majority were Japanese, and we know how the Japanese feel about different races.
And also, they love their gacha games, too. They're obsessed with it.
On the topic of how this race thing is going to work out for their boycott, okay? And now South Korea, another notoriously monolithic culture. Then we
Yeah.
get into the Philippines. Oh, look, another monolithic culture. We get it right. Monolithic culture. Type monolithic. Malaysia, Singapore, China, Hong Kong. Well, Hong Kong, not so much. I don't know.
Yeah.
But even Ukraine ranks higher on this list. New Zealand, for goodness sakes.
Then you got Chile too. Yeah.
Right.
Costa Rica.
And Josh will tell you, Chile is just a strip on the side of South America, and they have a
and there's
higher
Thailand too.
and they have a higher player population than the United States of America, which is where this petition is.
We were talking about this right before we started, recording. Is Myanmar is going through a literal genocide / military coup situation, and it has a higher, player population than the U.S.
Burma. Yep.
Like Burma / Myanmar. That's insane. Like I literally saw the moment that Myanmar went into their military coup like 4 years ago. I saw it on live stream. So to see that and see this here, like literally after watching people get shot by members of the military, is just insane.
Well, and again, I mean, like we're looking at here, as we can see, these are all countries that notoriously do not follow the United States model of American-style division. Division. Yeah, division, diversity. They're not. These countries do not shove people in because they have a certain background, be it racial, religious, or
minus
cultural.
Canada. Well, Canada's
on the list. Oh, yeah,
Canada's there, and I think the UK is the UK there. I thought it was. New Zealand is starting to. New Zealand is there too. So yeah, I'd say Canada and New Zealand are probably the only countries that do that.
Right, New Zealand probably to a lesser degree, but I get what you're talking about. But again, like these countries, what we're seeing right here,
the majority of them are not. But
correct, they're not concerned about having representation. What they are concerned with is enjoying the game. A long time ago that mattered in the West, but not so much now. But there you go. That's why this whole thing is going to fall flat on its face. And we have some statements made by the Chinese. I'm just trying to dig them up here. Just takes a hot second. They're not.
They don't care. They've never cared.
It's not so much that they don't care; it's that they have some very spectacular things to say about this.
That statement! Oh my God, that statement has become a meme.
Yeah. So this person is posting pictures from the Chinese WeChat.
Oh yeah, there's a person that posted like comments from like Weibo and Facebook.
Yep.
They are laughing at us per usual.
As they should. This is ridiculous. So before I bring that up, what I want to discuss with you guys about Genshin Impact is this. It is a work of fiction. It is a work of fiction from a culture and a country that is 1.6 billion majority Han Chinese, and those who aren't Han are mixed Han with Mongolian and other local
and
Southeast Asian.
I believe there's Muslim in there too.
Well, and they're also descended from what would be considered native Chinese, I guess.
Yeah.
What would be considered Chinese to that area, the Han, if you will. And so this is not even like the Japanese, who have like a mixture of Korean and the Ainu and the Russians and some Southeast Asian from Vietnam that mingle in here because these fishermen ended up on the islands, you see. This is China, which is a straight up monolith, and they are very, very proud of their Han lineage. I'm talking like 1930s Germany proud of their lineage, okay? So you're not going to get them to budge on this. You're not going to get them to recognize the cultural diversity that's necessary in the modern era. That is not at all something you're going to get the Chinese to recognize. And you know what? I just want to say this. Screw you, Zoomers and Alphas, for making me defend China, okay? Screw you for making me defend China. So here we are. This is a comment from WeChat. Now, I know it's very tiny because the way the screenshot was taken, I can't get it much smaller. So I'm just going to read it for you. And it says, it translates to, characters look okay. What's the problem? Why do they need to have dark skin? This is another person saying this, not me. Black skin are so repulsive to look at. Only slight tan are okay.
which is how Chinese and even Southeast Asians are. They tan. They have darker skin because of where they are in the world in terms of like the sun and whatnot. But yeah.
The churls are black. There's a swarm of them. Why aren't they satisfied? Oh. But the funny thing is he's eating the watermelon with the sly look on his face. And we all know what the watermelon's a symbol of now, don't we? Yeah. They're clever. Don't screw with the Asians. They're clever. They'll find a way around the PC limits. Don't worry.
Mm-hmm.
So this person says, we don't have political correctness. They can off. I don't like someone who looks too black.
They're really racist over there when it comes to China's really racist though. Let's be real. China is extremely racist.
Yeah, I know. They took Finn off of the Star Wars poster, man.
Yeah, like people don't seem to understand. Like people think they're gonna convert Hoyo, and I'm just like, dude, you are not. If you are black and go to China, like, good luck.
You're gonna have a bad time. You have a real bad time. You know, and RJ McReady says, I will not be defending China in my battle with the Zoomers. Hey, I can't blame you, but I have to acknowledge that this MiHoYo company didn't do anything wrong. They respected their market, and their market likes light-colored people that look like them. That's just
how Asian culture is. Asian culture, and technically African culture is like this too. Is where because to the point where and Asians do it too. Is they use skin bleachers.
Sometimes,
it's a thing.
But moreover, if you remember, I talk about this all the time. Once the Japanese came in contact with the Dutch, they started representing themselves with much lighter-colored skin in their art. Previous to that, they were more, I would say, warm tone in what they had.
Yeah,
they
you could see it in their. You could see it in the art too. The older art, you could tell like they were like more like warm tones. They used warmer tones in their art, and then once they
met the Dutch, it was bang, just like that.
They lighten up their skin tone.
It's amazing.
Sometimes in very unhealthy ways too.
But again, and so because Genshin Impact is built out of the aesthetic of anime, the Japanese set the standard for what Genshin Impact looks like. And it's not going to change if you change Japan. Genshin Impact took the success of anime worldwide. Now, what did anime do? Anime said that a guy with blonde hair and blue eyes is, like Yasuyumi Taka, right? They would say like that. They would say like his name is Ichiro Oda, things like that. And he's got blonde hair and blue eyes, you know what I mean? Pale white skin. And that's what they would do though. And you don't hear Germany losing their head over that at all. No. You don't hear England losing their head over that at all. There's so many anime that are based off of England, not their direct history like they did in Ubisoft. But
they will do stuff that's based like in an alternate version.
Fate series. The Fate series is good for this. They will go and take historical names and apply them to brand new character designs and brand new characters.
I mean, look at Drifters. Drifters does it too. We saw you see at the what's the other series that I'm thinking off the top of my head? Oh God. Dang it, I totally forgot. But yeah, Drifters is the first one. Oh, now I remember. It's Record of Ragnarok. We see it. There is War of Greedy Witches, where they take different women from history as well. Oh my God, my cat is just being very fussy. I'll be right back.
Nope, that's okay. And so this is what I want to stress to people is that because the Japanese built into their aesthetic a characters that have blue eyes and light skin, again, the Japanese themselves aren't too far off from this. Some medical journal a few years ago tried declaring them white, So the Japanese themselves acknowledge this about themselves. As a result, the media they export sets a standard. That standard is then parodied and then repeated, and then, derivative kind of works are born out of it. As we've seen with League of Legends, as we've seen with Valorant, who follow an anime aesthetic. Now enter Genshin Impact, who basically copy and paste the aesthetic of anime all the way through. Right down to the names, I think. I think there's only a few characters that have like Chinese-based names even, and those are, I think they're regional characters, So, yeah, and so that's, so you're dealing with a culture that is not interested in acknowledging other cultures, if you
No.
will.
No.
And as a result, we ended up with some very frustrated people with our coverage. This is a quote tweet. We'll get into the original tweet here.
I was dying when I found this. This was a happy accident. I was trying to find the petition on Twitter.
Yep.
And I was looking through the tweets, and I saw this. I was like, oh my God. Wow, Cider has some fans.
Yeah, there's some people out there that really like me these days. So it says right here, what the actual F are these people stupid or crying emojis? And so
it's pure, scroll down. There's another part to it too.
They followed it up.
Keep going.
Where do I stop?
Oh, I thought there was more to it. Oh yeah, there's more to there's more right here.
Oh, they found the dislike tracker and they're trying to bomb the video, but you
guys totally failed too.
Right, but you guys are on top of it, so you've kept right up with them and doubled up with when 2 of them show up, 4 of you guys show up. I appreciate it. I really do. But let's get up to what this person's on about. So they're upset about this thumbnail to begin with, and I made sure that this thumbnail was going to get their attention. If they saw it, they were not going to be able to resist talking about it. And as you can see, this person, by the way, only has 826 followers, and their tweet has over 63,000 views. Okay,
so there's some bottedness going on.
Yeah, we just touched a button there. Just touched a button. So let's take a look at some of the replies. Right, we saw a little bit. It sounds like an AI title. So, hi, you're looking at AI Cider. So it's AI. I love it. And I'm an American and racist. Those are 2 awful things, you know. Oh, my automatic lights came on. Oh, I'll have to fix that in a minute. But take advantage of this, sign a petition, really nice. Have the dislike extension. And look at that. There's 96 likes to 8 dislikes. And they explain
the QRTs are so much better too. I can't wait for you guys to see them. I was dying at the projection from these people because they really do not think that they're racist when in all reality they are the ones being racist.
So this is the president of the company, and he made this statement. He says, "We make things that we like." And then this is from the customer service report. It says, "Please be kindly reminded that Genshin Impact is a work of fiction. It's not related to any actual people, events, or groups." Tough.
I know it's seriously become a meme now that because someone tweeted that email out and everyone's just been using that as a meme.
Yep. So we'll take a look at the quotes now. These are quite spectacular. American diversity. The last time I checked, other Chinese game companies besides Hoyoverse have such American-style diversity. I'm sick of these clan motherfuckers assuming Chinese people can't get near diversity like the plague. They took Finn off the Star Wars poster, dude. What are you talking about?
These people are so delusional.
American-style diversity. Thanks for sharing your opinion. Your opinion, the trash, but you're gringo. Oh, I see. I'm white, so I don't get to have an opinion. I see. This makes perfect sense. They're not racist, guys. They're not racist.
Oh, it's this one. It's this one that has has the extra reply that you need to see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that
this
one.
Conch. Very smart idea here. I want this this dumb F to go outside and see the American-style diversity everywhere in the world. Have you been to China? Have you been to Japan? How about this? Have you been to South America? Like anywhere in South America? But if they take from cultures from people with darker skin, they must represent them as well. No, they don't. I'm sorry, they don't. I'm very sorry. Yu-Gi-Oh! Would like to speak with you about taking another culture's shit and profiting off of it, okay? Like, that's just Egypt and anime.
Hajime no Ippo does too.
Yep.
But the thing is though, with the difference between like Yu-Gi-Oh! And like Hajime no Ippo and say something like Genshin Impact is they actually are based off of the actual culture. They take place in like Latin America and and even in the US too. And in the case of Yu-Gi-Oh! Egypt and Morikawa, in regards to Hajime no Ippo, he like does, and with and Yu-Gi-Oh! In regard, Takahashi in regards to Yu-Gi-Oh! They love those cultures. They like did their extensive research and did what they needed to do. But with Hajime no Ippo, the Mexican characters don't have the Hispanic characters don't have all dark skin. I don't see them bitching about that, but they don't read manga, so.
What a surprise. So as you said, and calling people racist over actual racist issues within the game is effing wild. Please, for the love of F, go read up on this and use your non-functioning brain cells to put together the horrible shit that Hoyo has been doing for the past 13 years.
But they're the ones that are being racist.
Right. I don't know what this has to do with the bus driver. There's no bus here. I'm sorry. I'm confused. I don't Fortnite. I'm sorry. I don't get your Fortnite lingo. Anyway, American-style diversity is literally not a thing. Thank you. Thank you. I agree. It's not a thing. It's a corporate creation, nothing natural in the world. You're right. Not a thing. Laugh my ass off. What are these idiots making up to feel better about being raped?
They're the ones being racist, though. Like, they missed the point.
I love it. American-style diversity. Nobody watched the video. They just saw the title and lost their mind. Have this guy seen Indonesia, China, Malio? There we go. Malio Polynesian and Aboriginals live in the same nation, and they look very different from each other. Americans don't own the concept of racial diversity. Well, they would beg to differ, sir. I'm pretty sure they would beg to differ. But American-style diversity, they want dark-skinned POC in places inspired by real-life regions dark-skinned POC originate from and live in? Okay, it's a fictional game. We should talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Like I said, we talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! How about Pokemon, huh? We want to talk about Pokemon? How about that Hawaiian land?
They say Brock is black. It's like, no, Brock is a darker skin Asian.
Brock has a hard time opening his eyes. That's what Brock has. He has a hard time opening his eyes. And see, that's the jelly donuts thing. He got confused. You imagine how disappointed he was expecting jelly donuts. He got rice balls instead. You gotta open your eyes, man. You gotta open your eyes. Bounding into comics gotta be brain dead because of how the F you supposed to be. How you gonna be racist when you just want to be more than one race in a game? Like, representation, is it bad? Take it from a cracker. Don't want a game full of crackers. I have terrible news for you. I have very, very bad news for you. These
people are so clueless. They don't realize how racist they are.
They really don't. It doesn't take a genius to notice the weird connotations of only NPCs and mobs having POC features. If they think makes players race obsessed, they might genuinely just be stupid.
Have they looked at? I'm telling you, this is pure projection.
If you're noticing race everywhere, odds are you're race obsessed, right?
Yeah.
Right? Racists boycott Genshin Impact. Dog. So we're the racist ones out here, but not the company that whitewashed historic black figures? Pardon?
Wait, what?
Shaka Zulu isn't in Genshin Impact. What are you talking about, dude? That's amazing. They're like trying to say that this is Deadliest Warrior, and they're not doing it right, you know? They didn't cast the right guy. I love it. But it's about Swanasa and the indigenous Latin American people and cultures. It's not. It's about a corporation that took advantage of free real estate as far as culture is concerned. See, Japan's defending theirs. There's a difference here. These cultures don't want to defend it. In fact, to be fair,
Latin Americans are defending this and saying, like, you guys are being stupid. Stay the fuck out.
You know, that's what I mean. But they're not out here defending the boycott. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
they're not out here saying that borrowing our culture is bad. They are happy to have their culture shown to the world.
Yeah.
And that was Tequila Gundam. I remember reading that in the comment section about Tequila Gundam, that they were thrilled to death that Mexico got any representation whatsoever in a Japanese anime, and that it got its own Gundam was even better. So, you know, American-style diversity. So calling out years of Hoyo cultural appropriation while simultaneously also making fun of POC isn't your kind of diversity you want to happen. Just say you're a racist, man. No, I just
They
understand.
need to just admit they are racist and move on. Like, they're the ones being racist.
It blows my mind. It really does. That we live in a world where people just can't grasp this. Race-obsessed gamers, and it's just people defending their culture. It's not.
If it was people defending their culture, they wouldn't be like bitching about skin tone. They would be bitching about, like, it would be like the Japanese with Assassin's Creed Shadows, where they're talking about different things being misrepresented in the game, not skin color. Like, come on. How is this hard?
So let's see here. Where are we getting the voices, the videos here? Hold on. They made videos for this, and they are as spectacular as you might have guessed. So.
Oh my god, I've already lost brain cells from seeing all these dumbasses for over the past few days. And between this, I don't know what is dumber. The idiots that are projecting onto senpais in Tokadoko, or now what we're getting with Ranma Half. There's a lot of stupidity happening from activists right now.
All right, so this comes from Kiwi Farms. Now, it's because they went and collected some of the more spectacular examples of the people that are leaving testimonials.
Oh God!
On the thing, and they titled this section "The Human Zoo." So
oh my God!
Brace yourselves for these spectacular individuals we're about to meet.
We need to stand up to this. I'm a black person myself.
Thank you. I did not notice that. I appreciate you pointing that out. I may have mistaken you for another type of person. But I also want to point out this is a child. This obviously is a person who is under drinking age and has felt very compelled by the stuff going on online to make a video, and they're very nervous about that. So have a little bit of mercy that this probably is the first time this person's posted a selfie video anywhere on the internet, and so they're a little excited. But feel free to laugh at what they're complaining about. It's adorable.
And this is inappropriate. It's not hard to add a black character. Stop whitewashing in these video games.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
However,
you're still recording. You got anything more to say, Chief?
It's not that hard to add a black character, okay?
Thank you.
Now, do your part in Black Lives Matter, okay?
Black ass matters? Okay. Thank you. This is an adult, or at least I hope this is an adult.
All right, really concise. There should be no reason the characters are white because it's based on cultures where a lot of people are not white.
Well, hold on. Wait a minute. Where a lot of people aren't white? Not all the people aren't white? So that means you're excluding people, which means you're not representing...
Also, let's be real for a second. This is just a bad marketing decision.
The person who looks like this... The person who looks like this with a dream catcher in the background is telling you that's a bad marketing decision.
How is this a bad marketing decision?
Like, that's for the wrong reason. But in this day and age, there's no reason to release a character that is white when you're trying to
There's no reason to release a white character, you know that? Keep them in a box. You understand me? You keep them in a box.
represent brown culture because it's just a bad marketing decision, straight up.
The person who looks like that.
You hear that? You can't be a part of Mexican culture and be white when there are white Mexicans. Like, do they not realize how racist that sounds?
It is spectacular here. We got Caffeinated Wolf in the chat and saying, like, please never procreate. Well, you're about to meet two individuals that I'm pretty sure the only vagina they're ever going to see in their lives is the one they fell out of. Wow.
My cat is asleep because he can't stand the stupidity.
Yeah, he's decided to escape reality. Yeah, I can't blame him. So we're about to meet Brian. And Brian would like to tell us about his... I'm just going to let him explain, okay?
Hi, hello, my name is Brian.
Hi, Brian. Nice to meet you.
And as a melanated
he's melated.
Melanated.
No, he's melated. He's melated. But wait for a second pass at it.
Person myself, I think that
hold on.
As a male person myself,
Gotta go back far enough.
My name is Brian, and as a male person,
As a male person. He's a male person. Now, I've heard of birthing people, but apparently there's also male persons now. So just so you know,
Not to
you're
be
a male
confused
person
with
out
male
there.
cats.
Right.
myself, I think that it's sad that we have to literally just fight for what's right, aka having more darker skinned characters. And I hope that with this petition, I hope that
I want you to just look at his wall. He obviously has a huge problem with this. Obviously, the amount of light-skinned people in media is just haunting him day and night, and he just can't live with it. Never. Look at all this. Why do you
He's
have
just
a problem?
such a hypocrite.
Yes.
These people are so like. These people
There's
are
at
so
least
brainwashed.
There's at least 3 Korean boy bands here. I think the other ones are anime. Like, I think one of the top ones Slam Dunk, and the other one is Yu Yu Hakusho. I'm not sure, but these all could be just be K-pop boy bands up on his wall.
People are
This-
delusional.
He is a male man. That is correct. He is a male man. Yep. Very, yep. Meridinated. Yep, meridinated. You got it. Meridinated. Now we're going to meet somebody who's pretty upset about white people in general. And they decided to use Polly Pocket toys to describe that feeling.
Hi, I'm King. I'm Devin. And we think that like Genshin needs to add people of color because if I see another white person, I'm actually gonna shoot up a school.
What the hell is wrong with people? Like,
Don't watch the
is
stream,
what the
please.
mental
Just don't
health
do that.
system- like this is from a mentally like a legit mentally ill person. This is why the mental health system is failing. This is an example of the mental health system not at work. It has failed. This is why mental health reform needs to happen. Will it? No, it will not, because politicians suck. That's why.
It's absolutely amazing. It's absolutely amazing that they're just over here talking about murdering people using Polly
Over
Pocket
Genshin!
toys.
Like, this
Over
is a
Genshin,
racist
yep.
saying that they're gonna murder people over Genshin, not having black characters in it. Like, what the fuck is wrong with people?
Come on.
And then they're gay. Cool. All right. So, oh, never mind. I want to know what this guy has to say.
I'm glad, as a melanated man, there is someone else out there calling it what it is.
Wow. We got another melanated person. I'm very glad that these melanateds are calling in and letting us know that they're melanated. You know, what's important to me in my life is just how unmelanated I am. I like to tell everybody as an unmelanated person. I like to declare my statements to qualify them as an unmelanated person. No, that's ridiculous. There's more to your life than this, obviously. If you're interested in Genshin Impact, you're at least interested in anime. This should not be your hobby, friend. This race obsession thing should not be your hobby. And what are you doing wearing a satin cap?
What are you
Cultural
doing wearing a
appropriation.
Jiffy Pop? Like,
Well,
that should
I
be
get-
used to go be. Why aren't you making some Jiffy Pop?
No,
Why is that
I-
going to your head?
I get that you wear it to bed. He's not in bed. He's like
That
sitting
should
up.
be
What are
on
you
your
doing?
stove. That should not be on your head. That should be
Another
on your
thing,
stove.
It is disgusting how we cannot get a good brown
Maybe he's a
character,
chef.
but we
Maybe he's
can
a
get
chef.
tons and tons of
A Jiffy Pop chef.
black and brown enemies. That is
So he's mad that the enemies are black and brown, and I'm
They're
sorry, but
coded?
it's Chinese. That's how they see the world, guys. So this person had some interesting things that they didn't want to take credit for, so they blocked their face out, but still wanted to leave a message.
I wish I could say that I was surprised, but I'm
And they changed their voice too, just because they're so famous, you might recognize them. You see.
not. Even though I will say I kind of got into Genshin very later into the year or so because I only just started playing. I didn't know about, Sumeru and all of the other things that was going on and this what's happening now. But what I do know is that we're not surprised, especially people from the black community. Our relationship
Oh, the black community is not surprised. Oh, okay. Well, thank God they weren't caught off guard by this.
with,
Then
you
why
know,
are you playing?
Chinese people and the Asian people has kind of been like rocky, I would say. A lot of them and the way they do and manage business, it's like the same thing even here.
See, they couldn't resist keeping their face off camera. That's what I love about this. Like, oh no, you know that censor bar that's blocking my face? That's too big. It should only block most of my face, not all of it. Because what was the point?
These people are so insane.
Yep. Now this one tops it off. It's not as crazy as the Polly Pocket one, but it's pretty out there.
If you're seeing this video, it's probably because you opened the website or signed the petition already, but this is just straight up disrespectful. You cannot take inspiration from real life cultures and then absolutely disrespect them like that.
Yeah, Ubisoft.
As a melanated person myself.
Wow, another one. How about that? And I just thought this was an American. My bad. I didn't know this was a melanated American. I'm glad she let us know.
African American. I have family who's Nigerian, and that's just, it's disrespectful. It's disgusting. This whole universe knows what they're doing, and we as a community, we need to band together and let them know that they need to do better.
They're not gonna listen to you.
It's amazing that we live on a planet like this, really.
Yeah, these people like give so much shit to those that were bitching about, or well, rightfully bitching about Shift Up doing a bait and switch on Stellar Blade because of this, because of the outfits, which are legitimately there. They're on the physical disc. So yeah, it is a bait and switch, and that in the tweet. But still, like, there's a huge, like, because I've had people tell me that, like, what's the difference between, you know, Genshin Impact and Stellar Blade? It's like, there's a huge difference. One, it's not a racist thing, and two, like, there's actually a legitimate concern. There's something legit there.
Right. And then we do have more. Here we go. I'm trying to find the Ranma thing. I think it's in the.
Oh yeah, with Ram. Oh my god. So for those of you that don't know, Ranma Half is, you know, the reboot it's coming a lot sooner than I thought. It's coming in October. It's October 5th. And it's going to be a Netflix exclusive, which is very, very worrisome. But I'm not happy in particular that that Mappa is adapting it. I have my own beef with Mappa after a personal beef after what they did to specifically to Kakegurui, because at my first anime convention, I went to a Mappa panel and I found out the reason why they did an anime original ending instead of like ending it the way it should have been. So yeah, I have my own problems with Mappa, and seeing that Mappa is adapting this really bothers me. I'm not happy with it because Mappa does not know how to do ecchi very well, and because Kakegurui does have a lot of ecchi in there too. So seeing that, I'm not happy with this. I am not.
So we're not going to play the audio from it, obviously, and we'll have to pause a little bit. But
oh, I will say this though: the only good thing coming out of this is two things. One, it's adapting the manga, and two, Ranma Half's original voice actors are coming back.
Wow, that's kind of American, you know, to do that. They're pretty up there. So there you go. You got Ranma.
He looks okay.
I noticed what I don't like about this is how flat the colors are.
That's what I know. People are trying to say that it's more in line with the manga, but at the same time, this is a manga to anime adaptation where for me, what it is the manga is the blueprint, and what the anime is supposed to do is take that blueprint and enhance it and make it even more three-dimensional. And this looks, and something that's been a problem, and not just with Mappa, but with a lot of anime over the past few years or so, is that a lot of anime looks so flat. It looks more two-dimensional than, say, a lot of manga, which looks like it's going to come off the page.
Right.
If that makes sense. But a lot of people have been talking about how unsaturated and how muted this looks compared to the original one, which looks very saturated and very and full of life. this looks very soulless, if that makes sense. People are saying, oh, it's probably because of the slave labor and blah, blah, blah. And, I don't know. Slave labor, I don't know. It could be. But I feel like part of it has to do, in terms of anime in general, I think it has to do with what happened during COVID when the animators were working remotely because they're used to working together with the director and like the different senior animators all working together, and it was very intimate. So like you could tell, like in like older anime, you could tell there was a lot more life in it because of that. But here, it just, I don't know, it just doesn't feel the same, obviously, because it's a different studio. But,
Yeah, well, and I was thinking about this, and I think that the situation with her hair is more to make her feminine, so you have to understand I think what they're trying to do with this is really drive home that these are two different physical forms, and that's what they're trying, because in the anime, Ranma just got shorter and got boobs and hips. That was basically
well, she
it.
had red hair in the anime, and he had black hair. Male Rama always had black hair. Female Rama in the anime, she had red hair. In the manga covers, it was very inconsistent.
Right.
Where it started off with like a black with like a pink tinge, and then it just kept changing over time, and then eventually, after the anime came out, it settled on red.
Right, and so this is kind of what we're dealing with. Is I think that's what the point of pinking her hair was to really drive home the separate body sort of thing and to really feminize the appearance. And
Yeah.
that seems to be the goal here. As we're looking at the trailer, it doesn't seem to be pushing any type of social agenda, and it does.
No. It was never meant to push an agenda or anything like that. But the problem is, you have trans activists that are doing that. I'm just hoping that, it looks like Rama might be censored in the chest area, unfortunately, which really sucks, but it is what it is. It is going to be on Netflix worldwide. I'm just hoping this is not going to be a Netflix jail situation, especially in terms of episode dumps. Oh God, that would suck. But yeah, the trans activists, when it was first announced, the trans activists were already out saying that this was going to be this was going to crack a new generation of eggs. God, I swear, they are just never going to beat those grooming allegations. For those of you that don't know what egg cracking is basically what eggs are gender non-conforming people that are transgender in the closet, so to speak. And that a lot of these psycho activists that originated on Reddit mainly believe it's their duty to crack these eggs by any means necessary and force them to become trans.
Yeah, both sides, in fact, on both sides of hatching. Yep, how about that? But as you can see right here, this is going to crack a whole new generation of eggs. Now, this is a valid point in that Ranma Half will be used as an allegory for the trans experience.
They've already said it.
So be prepared for this type of narrative to be circulated now, where people are going to reanalyze the previous production of this as well as the current production, and then claim that the intention of the author was to always express the experience of being trapped in the wrong body.
Which is not true.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
They really are. Like, egg cracking trans activists are really straight up groomers. They are groomers. Like, usually I don't like calling someone a groomer, but like these people, like from people that I've talked to, like gender non-conforming people that have had experiences with these people, yeah, they are groomers. These are like the epitome of a groomer.
Yeah, and again, I mean, they're talking about preying upon, young
gender non-conforming people that just want to be different, that like looking different.
Yeah, and so that's where we're at with this, is that Ranma has been set up for colonization, I guess is the word that they like to use. Colonization is the word.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what they're going to do.
Hold on a second. Let me just get...
Yeah, no problem. So that's what you're looking at. And as we talked about today, you're dealing with a younger generation that's in the process of doing this, right? And what I mean by younger generation isn't the fact that like 100% of all these kids are in on this. It's not that. It's the alphas and zoomers have been marinated in these politics for so long that they do not that's been their entire youth, in fact. So they're all part of their lives, maybe even at home too, not just at school and social media, maybe at home too. They are being fed this information that the world is evil if you don't if you burn in the sun. If you have any type of power or representation and you burn in the sun, the world is evil. And so these kids go out into the world and they act like this and they claim these properties as evidence of their existence, like what we saw with Yamato in One Piece. The continued battle over that character simply because she idolizes her father so much.
Well,
She
she
wants to be
idolizes
like
Odin. She didn't idolize.
Yeah, sorry. Odin, my bad. She idolized this character, so this male figure in her life so much that she wanted to be like him 1-to-1. You know, and again, all that is transplanting the son's view of the father when you look at the way that this character's expressing herself.
Well,
This-
you can't be a tomboy anymore.
Correct, and that's all she is. She's
And it's
just
the same thing with what we'll talk about. Hopefully, we'll talk about it in a sec. Is with senpais in a tokonoko, and this has been happening for a while now with trap characters. We saw it with Bridget as well with Guilty Gear, where trap that's when it's really blew up. We saw it with Hiura in. Well, here's the thing with Hiura though. In I think I turned my childhood friend into a girl. There was a clear consensus that was just a botched localization in the manga community. Manga fans knew, and they even transgender manga fans were not happy about it. But here with like senpai is in a tokonoko, it's like a completely different story. Like a lot of these people read the manhwa that this anime is based on, and it clearly says Makoto, the character there, clearly says that he is a boy. He is a boy, period, that just likes to wear cute things. And these people are in denial about it. It is just the weirdest thing. Mm-hmm. And this character, I'm telling you, has broken these people. Like, these people are like straight up admitting that they're co-opting a tokonoko. They believe that all cross-dressers are transgender. Like, the one about Fujos though, that these kinds of series are like fetishes for Fujoshi, and even like said Fujoshi is a slur kind of thing. I was like, wait, what? It's bad enough you were dealing with SJWs trying to colonize the Spanish language. Now you got them colonizing Japanese culture too. It is just so bizarre.
Right. Everybody's got to be gay. They can't, everybody's got to be gay. That's it. There's no other way.
Everyone's got to be trans. Nah, they're going after gay people, like, because the tokonokos, not all of them are straight. There's a good chunk of them are in boys' love series. Like I think I turned my childhood friend into a girl. That is a boys' love series. This one, though, senpai is in a tokonoko. That ends up being, I believe, you guys could correct me if I'm wrong, I believe is a straight love series, or he ends up getting with a girl because the girl's bisexual and she wanted to get with him, get with Makoto when before she knew he was a guy. So yeah, she's bisexual, but I think if I remember correctly, he gets with her. So it's like a straight romance it turns into, and they are not happy with that. No.
And Mitch points this out. He says, when I was a kid, we were told that a boy who likes pink and ballet is still a boy, and calling him a girl was wrong. Now we are told that a boy who likes pink and ballet is a girl. Yeah. Yeah. And that's what this is about here, is that now I'm not down for the cross-dressing community. That's not my complaint here. My complaint is that as a property, this is not intended to be some type of hentai. It is simply meant to be like these tongue-in-cheek sort of jokes about two boys meeting each other and having a relationship that usually spirals into some type of comedic outcome. They tend not to pair up, but there are ones that do, don't get me wrong. My problem in this regard...
Well, in this case, this is a coming of age story where Makoto is finding himself. And the irony in this series, though, is his mother is very, very well, in their eyes would be transphobic, because when she finds out that her son is, keeping
Doing
girly
that.
things, then she gets pissed off about it and throws it away, like that kind of thing. So it's
Right.
like fans of the series have been like, dude, you trans activists are being exactly like the mother, trying to reinforce these gender stereotypes.
And that's what it is that I don't like this trans washing. We heard about whitewashing. So let's say it's
Yeah.
trans washing now. And I don't like this trans washing. I'm not down for the cross dressing thing. Don't get me wrong. As I said before, I'm not into that. What I have a problem with here is using this series and the popularity of it to promote the trans identity, which, as we all know, is a mental disorder. We don't want to go selling people a mental disorder in like pop culture. That's not healthy. That's not good. Whatever your feelings are about cross dressing, it is not in the order of the mental disorder of transsexualism. The DCM-5 described gender dysphoria as incredibly destructive to life. Cross dressing, even in the East, has a mixed purpose. In Japan, we see this with kabuki theater. Only men are allowed to perform kabuki theater, and kabuki theater involves female characters. You can guess how this goes. So, again, Japan also has a different relationship with cross-dressing. As I've said, it's a lot of the time it's used for comedic romances where a man is cross-dressing for whatever reason. Usually it's not sexual. It's either for work, investigation, or whatever. There's some twist of fate that has brought him into behaving like a woman, looking like one. However, on the other end, the male character he interacts with is completely okay with the reveal. He freaks out and he's like, okay, we're going to be friends. And they become good bros, usually is how it goes. And that's what I have to stress about this, is that these people want this character to be trans so they can justify their own existence and preying upon people who otherwise would not want anything to do with them romantically. That's what this is all about. It's saying, look, this trans character gets along. Why can't you get along? Why can't you like me being a trans person and like this person in this anime does? And it's just, don't do that. Just don't do it. If you want trans representation in your anime, go out and make one. It worked for Thomas Lockley.
Also, there are series that do have trans characters. They do. And like the thing that's frustrating about this situation, I got to find more tweets on it. It's like I've seen people, like these activists, say that they straight up think the author is transphobic for not having Makoto being trans. And it's like, dude, you didn't read the series then. Like, that's not how the series went. Like,
they're nuts.
They're not. Let the author write their own story.
Yep. Well, and like you covered this one too. This is another one where the Western end of it is, I don't know, berserk. To make a
God.
Pun.
Yeah, Katrina. Oh, our good friend Katrina. Dude, Katrina is just, if you have been in the anime and manga community for a while, you know of Katrina, especially if you watched our article, seen our articles. Katrina Lewandakis is someone who has botched a lot of anime and even a lot of Japanese video games, including Persona. She came out and said this was after the whole AI situation, AI subtitles situation for Nakatan. She straight up said that she believes that that localizers need to teach Japanese companies what a good localization is, when she's the one that puts memes and her own localization fan fiction.
Right. There's anime from the early 2000s, thanks to this woman, that mentions, oh no, I just forgot it. Among Us. It talks about mid to 2010s meme culture. And they have like flip phones. They're not, it's completely inappropriate what this person has done to these anime that don't get wide release, meaning they don't become as popular as Dragon Ball. They don't become as popular as Yu-Gi-Oh, for instance. And so this is where she finds her niche, is taking advantage of well, there won't be that many people that complain about it, so I won't lose my job and I'll get to have all the fun I want while poo-pooing anybody who tells me I'm wrong.
Oh, and
that's
she
how this
deliberately
person keeps
brags
going.
about it too. Like we've
Right.
covered it. She deliberately brags about botching localizations. Like we covered it with the new Kai. She bragged about it. And she and I did cover it on Twitter for a bit, but I need to like really go through gushing over magical girls to see what else she did. Because I didn't know at the time that it was her that did it. But yeah, she botched gushing over magical girls. She's working on and I gotta do an article on it. It's 2.5 dimensional seduction. She's botched that. She's working on that localization. I don't know why she's working on these ecchi series when
because
she
they don't
obviously
get
doesn't like
wide.
them.
Well, because they don't get wide release, so she can have all the fun she wants with these things because they don't get wide release. The fan bases are so small that they're not going to overlap with a larger fan base that'll get people angry and get her in trouble. And that's what it is.
Cider, you should scroll down and show the audience like the tweets that Katrina like put out, like literally saying that she believes that she states that she straight up has told that she was in the room with Japanese companies saying this stuff too, that she was the voice in the room for translators too. Oh my god, I couldn't believe it.
Speaking of Nokotan, a few people have pointed out the oddities in the English subtitles too, mainly a ton of missed capitalizations for sentences, proper nouns, and lack of split subtitles. What's going on with this series? Did the licensors outsource the TL instead of outsourcing CR? And I'm not sure. There it is. It's not unheard of for JP companies to do their own localization, but when they don't know how localization works or what localization looks like, it often ends up with disasters like these. Source, I've been hired a good amount of times to fix post-production translations. So this is why educating creators, okay? Educating creators, whether they're filmmakers, animation companies, writers, game developers. See, Sweet Baby Inc. There we go. It's so important. Good translation is a profit enabler. It's not. It's not. Trust me. Bad translation just makes you look cheap and uncaring. No,
Actually,
it doesn't.
Good translation, if you do have a good localization, the West will buy it. The bad translations, you will not buy them.
Well, I want to point out what she defines as a bad one is one that doesn't speak to politics, that doesn't localize the culture into the story. You know, she thinks that's bad when you don't insert American culture into a Japanese anime, right? She thinks that's bad.
Or into like the various video games, because she was hired. She worked for Sega and Atlas too. Yep. So yeah, there's a ton of them she did.
And that's what you're dealing with the Genshin Impact kids, is they view it the same way that she does, that these Asians don't know what they're talking about. Mm-hmm. They need to be taught a lesson by us, not Asian people.
There's a lot of localizers like this too.
Yeah, well, again, we saw this with, let me just point this out, okay? I was introduced to anime through a record of Lodoss War anime at a convention that was recorded in a dude's basement with his family and friends. You could tell which one, you can tell that the captain is his dad because he doesn't know what the hell he's saying. He's just doing his best to follow what his sons told him to say. And that's way better than what she's put out here, where you're watching an anime from the early 2000s. Just take this, right? You're watching Digimon Frontier, right? You're watching Digimon Frontier, and all of a sudden they bring up Among Us. They start saying floor gang. She put floor gang in an anime. I saw it. And there's just so much stupid crap that gets inserted. So it takes you out of it. You're like, wait a minute. I'm watching an anime from Japan and they're talking about Among Us? I'm watching an anime from 2005 and they're talking about Among Us? So you're completely out of the anime then. You're not watching the anime anymore. You're trying to figure out, are they time travelers? It's this person here, Crazy Felice, is here to say, that explains why so many Atlas and Sega localizations have been dog poop lately. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Mitch Ryan says, did you know Record of Lodoss War was originally a D&D homebrew that was transcribed in a magazine which became so popular, it began its own anime and manga adaptation? I didn't know that. That's amazing. I came across it. I was just a little weebo hanging out at little weeb boy hanging out at the convention, and there was a sign outside that said "Record of Lodos War," and I had heard Toonami Tom say that exactly once in my life, and I went in and I was like, "What is this?" And I was just amazed that people did this on their own, that they had put together their own dub in their basement. I was like, "Holy crap, it's amazing!"
Well, yeah, and what's cool is, and I think I've talked about it here before. It's like what Tagashi showed this kind of thing in Hunter x Hunter, where Crollo and the kids came together. This is in Crollo's backstory. Came together and put. They found like a Sentai, old Sentai tape together, Sentai tape, and they made a dub for it for the kids in their church.
Yep, and hear that? Police are on their way to arrest Christina right now. You see that? You're going right by. Yep, evil localizers will be brought to justice. But hey, it's me and HD is here, and he says I was blindsided by the new earlier start time. Yeah, well, we were talking in the back. We thought about doing a 3-hour show, but I just don't have it in me to go till 1 a.m. You know what I mean? I just don't have it in me. So I decided we might as well start an hour early, and that's where Tokyo Happy Hour found its second life. So that's what we do here in the first hour is we talk about all the weeby stuff. So that way when Jacob and Josh and Spencer show up, we're into the hard pop culture news from America. And that way we're satisfying our new Japanese audience and our weeb audience. That's you guys. That's not derogatory. We're all weebs here. And
weebs and otakus here.
That's true, right? Weebs and otakus here. And that's what the first part of the show is. So if it's not your thing to be into anime, you haven't missed anything. We're just talking about that news and what's going on.
I did send those Katrina tweets to my connections, and woo, they were not happy about that. They were not fans of what Katrina was saying. And so now Aniplex and Wit Studio know about Katrina shenanigans. So we'll see what happens with that.
Hopefully a cleansing of the localizer market.
Not for Katrina. She's working at Amazon.
They're running on colored person time. I don't know. Jacob said he was going to be late today, so I'm not sure. But weebs, geeks, and nerds. Yep. Yeah, instead of geeks and gamers, we're weebs, geeks, and nerds. That's right. That'll go over great. Jeremy will appreciate us rebranding to that, I'm sure. And hey, it's me and HD says, I love this stuff. Just channeling my inner Jack Black. I see. Yes, that's right. We'll get into that one a little bit later too. I had no idea that guy had a spine. Did you? Blew my mind.
Nah, I didn't think so either.
CP time. You're gonna get us in trouble, dude. I don't think we can say that too many times. We're not the right.
Well,
there's not enough melanated people on screen.
Just say Hawaiian Standard Time.
We do have your article up here, Nerdigans.
Oh yes. We talked about this. I think it was last week we talked about this. But yeah, something, and this is going to be an ongoing saga. I talked to Spencer about doing an ongoing saga with this. Because 2.5D seduction, if you scroll down a little bit, something that I didn't remember until I was working on this is that the mangaka actually notified fans a while ago that this was going to be altered, and the Blu-ray might be permanently altered too. We might not have something similar to what normal anime get, because in anime,
we gotta be a little careful.
Because in anime, what happens, and this is why I love series like 2.5 dimensional. I say 2.5D seduction. I'm just going to keep going with that. What 2.5D seduction does, series like that does, is it educates you on like different aspects of anime and manga. And in the chapter, this is about anime adaptations. Hashimoto talked about like anime censorship, and one thing that happens is you see those mysterious beams of light. Those beams of light are there so that way, when the anime goes to Blu-ray and DVD, they can remove it and it becomes uncensored. Now, this, on the other hand, is a different story, though. This is where it's like beyond like censored and like more into, at least in my opinion, this is like offensive censorship, more into like misogynistic censorship, because they removed this is the main character, Lalisa. They removed her chest, they removed her hips, they removed her thighs. They're all gone. And this is very concerning because the majority of the cast is very voluptuous and curvaceous. So yeah, that's kind of a problem.
There's a few things we can't show on YouTube. Yeah, I can see it's got some visuals there, but there's a couple of things we can't show on YouTube there that I almost showed, and I'm a little nervous about scrolling down that article now.
No, that was probably the worst of it. I mean, yeah, I think once you get past that image, or actually, you know what? Now I think about it, probably not. Yeah, let's not go through it.
So it's one of those things where YouTube is more sensitive to this stuff than Google, and that's all it is, guys. And it's again, you can go out on YouTube right now and find real in the flesh porn, but as soon as you put hentai up, boom, you're anything suggestive to hentai, anything cartoonishly booby.
We don't like it.
Get it out of there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
real
really
porn.
really
You
bad.
put that up on YouTube, no problem at all. You can go search it right now.
Monetize that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really bad with what's happening there. And I looked at some of the character designs on the website. Oh, this is going to be a fun series, and I still got to do the local bachelor.
Okay, you got to explain to us what you saw. You can't just say, "Oh, it's bad." What did you see?
So basically, for one of the characters, who's the teacher and the advisor, she cosplays as a very erotic video game character named I think it's Lestinot or Lestilet. Yeah, Lestilet. And I know Lestilet. And she basically is wearing almost nothing. And her chest, it's censored. There's a strap right here. And she's also wearing like a thong, like a bikini thong kind of thing. And that's turned into like a full-on panty. And that is a huge problem. Then you have another character who is wearing like a belly dancer kind of outfit, chest, like the top part of her chest, the bra is extended, it's up. And then the skirt is censored too. It's expanded a little bit, so more of her crotch is covered as well. So, and also the costume that we're going to see in this week's episode for Lyle, the straps that are across the chest are wider. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting. I don't know what there's another costume that we're going to see from the other character Makari for her Malile costume. I don't know how bad that's going to be censored, because those are mainly comprised of thin straps.
They've all got to be, like, just knowing these designs, like it is a waifu buffet in this manga, let's put it that way. And
it is.
Yeah, if Lalisa got hit like this early on, every single one of them is going to be hit, like, just hands down. I'm not even going to try and hold out for the best.
It's so sad, especially when when the advisor, she got into cosplaying because of body image issues, because she was insecure about being curvaceous, about being big chested, and being a little hippier. And she hated her body until she cosplayed as Lestinette, and then she learned to love herself. So to see like this happen is just really, really frustrating.
Yeah. Well, Jacob said he was going to be a little late. Do we want to start the show and then?
He's running on magical time. We might as well start on regular time, or at least Asian magical time, which is 5 minutes late, 15 minutes late. So whenever you're ready.
Well, Jewish Standard Time is 30 minutes late.
One more kiss and I'll get lost. I can take this anymore. One more step, we have it all. The fever's knocking at your door. One more kiss and I'll get lost. I can take this anymore. One more step, we have it all. The fever's knocking at your door. Can you feel the fever? You give me a fever again. Yes, I know it's just your game, but I love to be the one who gets played, yeah. There I go and I just fall
Guys, I'm not gonna lie. I'm having a struggle tonight on this show because I feel like nothing's happened over the last week to talk about. It's been really slow, you know?
The circus is in town, and boy, the activist clowns are just killing brain cells by the second.
You know how excited Professor Oak gets when he finds a new Pokemon? I wish I felt that excitement now that I found a new form of stupid.
If only we could find any amount of like that level of joy in anything we get these days. Is that because things are all awful or because we're getting older? It's a little bit of both, probably a little bit more in the former. You know what I'm saying? But yes, Wednesday night, we are back. It is the 01 stream here at Bounding Into Comics. Obviously, if you guys were here a little bit earlier before our proper start time, you caught the Tokyo Happy Hour with Cider and Nerdigans. In case you guys don't know, we have moved the Tokyo Happy Hour used to be a show we did on Bounding Into Comics on its own. We've consolidated. We're trying to move some things around for algorithm purposes. And long story short, we gave it a new home as a pre-show to the 01 stream. So 01 will always still start at 9 p.m. Eastern time. But if you want to hang out with Cider and Nerdigans and get their input on all the great Weeby topics of the week from two people who know exactly what they're talking about, you can come here at, I guess that would make it 8 p.m. Eastern time and hang out with them. So I know a lot of you guys are. It's awesome to see you guys. Even when before I come on, I'm still in the chat. I'm hanging out with you. So good to see everybody. Very happy to be here. It has been, like I said, it's been sort of a quiet week. There's been nothing really going on. Everybody's been struggling to find something to talk about. No big events. So I'm really going to need everybody's help here tonight to sort of get me on topic here, on track to talk about anything at all, because I can't think of anything that might have happened recently that would be a good subject of discussion.
Well, there's quite a bit.
Before we launch into too much, we do want to say hello to channel member Meteor Advocate Timon. Welcome aboard,
Timon.
Yep.
Yes. No, keep going.
No, I was just going to say, we had a great opening here. A lot of new faces showed up. That's a few X-members. Few X as in like, not like X in Cayman Return, but X as in like Elon's thing. Yeah. Wakanda
like X
forever.
Gonna give it to you.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wakanda forever. That kind of X, the Wakanda forever. But yeah.
I still can't get over how in Wakanda Forever, here's our big Chadwick Boseman tribute scene. And it's a big old like African procession funeral through the city. And then they get to like a forest and they lay down a coffin that is a silver space coffin with like the Black Panther doing the Wakanda Forever symbol. And then it lifts into a spaceship and just flies into the like sunset. Like I still can't get over it. It just makes me laugh every time.
They Spocked him from
the Spock got even better than that. At least
True.
Spock was like, we're sending you into the void. You're becoming one with space. This was like, we treat you and respect you, Chadwick. Now here's a CGI spaceship to take you to question marks. Have fun. Bye.
If you're not paying attention, that means UFOs are black people.
Well, I mean, that's what Eternals taught us, right? Aliens are all multicultural and completely diverse, right, and very representative of every culture. Every alien every alien cruise ship is representative of a liberal arts college in California. That's exactly what I have learned from the media.
You know, that would be the ultimate twist move, right? If they go and they cast Ryan Gosling as the Black Panther in Secret Wars, and he's like wearing the mask the whole time. He never takes the mask off.
Awesome.
That would be hilarious.
Oh my God, the amount of ringing on Twitter would be so.
I'd laugh so hard if that just he doesn't take the mask off. It's just the whole time he's Ryan Gosling under there, and he never takes the mask off.
And you can't see him, right? Like it's all completely costume, but it's Ryan Gosling.
It's
in the
Ryan
credits.
Gosling in there. Yeah.
I would genuinely probably end up laughing myself to the bathroom, if you know what I mean.
Like
that would be so good.
It's like that time they made the Stormtrooper Daniel Craig. you know, and you have no
Yes,
idea
that's
that Daniel
right.
Craig's
Yeah.
a stormtrooper, and it's like that. Yeah.
I remember feeling so bad after that in Force Awakens, because I remember Force Awakens was like, after it came out, you got, oh, here's Simon Pegg in a cameo, you didn't know it. Oh, here's Daniel Craig in a cameo. Oh, here's a bunch of other people you didn't know. And I was like, at first, I was like, that's so cool. Like, Star Wars is back. All of us have been waiting 30, 20 years for a new entry, and all these actors get to have a fun little like day to themselves in a big franchise. That's so fun. And now, like, I'm like, oh, I feel so sorry for them that they had to be part of that in any way possible, because I mean, yeah, obviously. So yeah, to that end, obviously one of the topics we'll talk about tonight is the Acolyte. We'll also definitely be talking about the events over the weekend, particularly in reference to specifically what's going on with Tenacious D and Jack Black and all that. We are not going to go full bore unless Jacob gets here in time, so maybe we'll save that topic for him. Then we've what else have we got on our docket today?
We got
who?
Man, the Ubisoft rabbit hole that we discovered.
Oh, the Ubisoft rabbit hole.
Wild.
I absolutely love the Ubisoft rabbit hole that broke down over the weekend that Cider was completely on top of. If you guys aren't subscribed to the channel proper, how'd you like? Welcome. That's awesome that you're watching this without being subscribed, but also hit that button. But you better be subscribed, because Cider is like the number one. He's on top of this stuff. B, he is a Japanese culture expert. Like, he knows this stuff, so he gives you real insights. He's been killing it lately. But yeah, this weekend was just 900 levels more embarrassing. There were 900 more embarrassing twists to the story than we probably would have imagined, like, outright, even as ridiculous as it already was. This rabbit hole just keeps going and going and going and going.
Japanese Twitter's been going wild.
Yeah, Japanese Twitter's been going wild. Everybody's been going wild. We will get into it, but it is a particularly bonkers development. So those are our main things. As always, if there's anything you guys want to talk about, anything on your guys' mind, if there is breaking news, we'll talk about it. We'll bring it up. But yeah, with that, let's kick off the show. Cider, what do we want to talk about today? Or what do we want to talk about first, rather?
We got a fish in the barrel here. We got a real easy fish in the barrel.
I'm really glad everybody picked up on what I was doing with this thumbnail or with this featured image. I 100% was going for the soy jack, and I'm so glad everybody picked up on that. This shot is just like, it's bad. It's bad.
Oh my god!
Excellent screenshot.
But Alyssa Mercante said this was for the Raylos. She said it. She straight up said it on Twitter.
Well, we talked about, like, Alyssa. I think we talk about her last week. Not that we shouldn't again. We definitely should.
We talked about her a little bit last week, but But she straight up said it. She's writing an article. I posted it in the Slack. She said that she's writing an article about she's looking for Raylos for an article.
Right. And like, as much as, you know, Mercante is her own stupid monster and really just does not deserve our attention, like this, all of her behavior lately, I'm loving the Alyssa Mercante spiraling out Destiny arc level like she's going on right now, because it is such an indicator of where Kotaku is. Again, she's out here picking fights with Grums, with Vera Dark, you know, talking noise, going into DMs, contacting JT Smashes
down from
picking fights, backing down, issuing vague threats to, you know, be careful to keep my name out of your mouth, contacting people's like spouses, JT Smash's wife, to say, hey, do you know what your husband's up to online? Like, she's going full over the edge. And now you see with the Acolyte discourse, I guarantee you, she would not give this much of a care if it wasn't something she could swing at her ideological opponents with, because this is not the first time she's had this swing about, oh, the Acolyte is so good because it's sexy. Her last two articles on Kotaku are about why it's such a good show because it is sexy. Like, again, sexy is cool. We all like, we like our fan service over here. We're not going to lie about it, but it's the sheer hypocrisy of, if you show them like original costume Tifa, they will lose their minds. If you think that's sexy, if you design a character or a scene, or you have if you like anything primarily because it's sexy, you're disgusting, you're a pervert, you need to be ostracized from society. But if they approve of it, safe horny, right? They can go, oh yeah, this is great. This is, what do you mean? We're not prudes. We love all this stuff because it's been approved by the generic neoliberal council of morons. So Mercante is just like, she will not care about Star Wars until another thing comes up where she can just poke at her opponents. I guarantee you. I mean, I don't even know if Kotaku is going to last that long to the next Star Wars production. Like, if we're being completely honest, like at this point, there's just that place has to be held together at this point by proverbial sticks and glue, and that,
a prayer.
No way. A prayer, Nerdigans. Are you kidding me? They would find it offensive if you uttered a prayer for them. Are you kidding me?
Well, a horny prayer. There you go.
There you go. Yes, it's held together with tape, glue, and a Tumblr discourse post about why it's okay to find Kim or horny or sexy or whatever. Like, it's 100% what it is. So, yeah, there's a lot to talk about. Obviously, last night was the last episode of The Acolyte. We are finally here at the very end of it all. Before we get into that episode, let's talk about what we are specifically looking at right here. We touched on this a little bit last week, but what you're seeing right here is mother, I don't even remember what her real name is anymore, but Jodie Turner-Smith, her character turning into the Force. This is her physically manifesting into the Force, or sorry, that's what Leslie Headland believes is happening. Not knows. That's not what she says is happening. That's what she believes is happening. So did we talk about that whole smoke scene last week? I totally forget, because I know
we
shows
did
on Wednesday. Did we? Okay. So yeah, we got that stupid scene last week with the whole, again, for those who don't remember, sort of like a wrap up here is this entire show was predicated on, you're going to get a murder mystery in Star Wars. Like, this is what it's going to be. That's the entire premise of the show. That narrative sort of fell apart after the second episode. And what we got was just a lot but the central mystery that they had presented was, here's this coven of lesbian space witches. Somehow they all died. Some Jedi might be involved in it. We don't know. Let's figure that all out. In this episode, it turned out that really it's so stupid. Now remember, all of these Jedi feel bad and they're in exile. One of them even kills himself because he feels so bad about the slaughter. But it's revealed in this episode that they didn't necessarily slaughter anybody sort of voluntarily, right? What happens here is that Master Soul and the Jedi who self-deleted, they arrive at the temple and they're like, hey, we're back again. We want to take Osha with us to train. And all of the coven is standing there like in defense, where they're like, we're not, they're at the ready for a fight behind their leader. Like, you're not going to take her. And the leader starts talking to Master Soul, like, basically like, you guys are Jedi. You're so full of yourself. You don't know what, like, your overconfidence is going to like rot for you in the future. And May runs back in because she's like, I need help. I'm killing my sister. I'm about to blow her up. And with her scream, there's this very tense standoff, very like Western style. And when May screams, one of her lesbian moms moves to like attack the Jedi. So the Jedi respond by drawing their saber and protecting themselves. And in doing so, they kill them, like the main witch fighters that are there. And then Carrie Ann Moss fights she learns that the witches are possessing the Wookiee. And so she cuts off their connection. And in doing so, that somehow kills their entire tribe. But again, none of this is that they're trying to go for this narrative of like, the Jedi did this really bad thing. Oh my gosh. But it's like, no, did they really? That just sort of seems like you guys provoked it. You guys started it. Like, I don't get, essentially, imagine if you guys were in a standoff and somebody reached for their weapon and you returned fire, right? Because you saw them reaching. It sucks. You might feel bad that you took a life, but is that really a situation where you can blame yourself for, like, you didn't want to attack them, right? It was just, it's you or them in that situation. So again, the entire narrative fell apart with that episode. It was really bad, but then it's okay because we got this episode, this new series conclusion, probably. They say it's a season finale, but there's no confirmation we're getting a season 2, and I genuinely do not think we are going to, for reasons we will get into. But the long short of this very, very, very stupid episode is that, oh man, I don't even know where to begin. I guess I'll bullet point it. Yeah, all right, hit me, Cider. It's so stupid. I don't know whether to hit.
I'm not going in order.
Or the cameo. Yeah,
I'm just gonna hit the big points that stood out to
let's
me,
just do
because that's all that matters here.
You guys can go watch Star Wars Theory or WDW Pro or that Park Place. Yeah, they've all got the like minute by minute play. But we'll hit the big points. That's a good method of approach.
The biggest point in this whole thing for me was Plagueis hiding in a cave and getting the idea to make Anakin from lesbian space witches. So it wasn't even his original idea to make Anakin. It was, in fact, these space witches that taught him or inspired him to create Anakin. So now Anakin's not special in any way, shape, or form. He's actually someone else's copy-pasted homework. So there you go. That stood out to me as especially egregious, because now the would-be savior of the Force, the intended prophetic savior of the light, is now Dookie. And then
no, keep going.
No, do you want to comment on that? Because I'm going to move on to the next thing.
Yeah, no, I was just going to comment real quick. Is like, I sort of pointed this out in one of the Acolyte articles I wrote recently, but the whole point of, like, Anakin, remember, the whole thing with Anakin was the Force made him to bring balance to the Force. Like, that whole part of his story was supposed to reinforce that character narrative, that he is a special thing, and there's a reason the entire universe like rests on him. Because of the Acolyte, we now have, he's not special, he's just another one. He's just the next, he's just like, okay, they tried again. And according to Leslie Headland, right, and we have to take it because this is now canon, because they gave her the reins to it, the witches aren't even necessarily the first ones to do this. So not only is Anakin not the first, but he's just the latest version. He's basically, what they have essentially done is reduce Anakin from Peter Parker to Miles Morales, where at one time he was very unique. He was very special. All, the spider bite, the Force choosing him, that was all the destiny for them. That was all their story. But now they weren't the only one bitten by the spider. They weren't the only one conceived by the Force. They were just one of the many people who got those powers. They're just one. It doesn't really matter if Anakin didn't do it, anybody would have done it next. Like, it really reduces. It is the equity in storytelling method, right? Where you can't have anybody who is chosen to be better or, better in any, or like special in any way. Really, everybody has to sort of be on the same exact level and can only be different based on, I don't know, societal pressures making you oppressed. It's really, really dumb. But yeah, Anakin's not special anymore. The chosen one is now just the next one, if you will.
Right. And then again, like this, I talk about this on and off because, it's my own little story. I do write
I still like
Star Wars. I haven't updated it in a while. It's just one of those things. But in my setting, what happens is that Rey is a product of this. That in Anakin's grief as Vader, having lost Padme and their children, he was very well aware existing. She was pregnant at the time, very obviously pregnant. So he was aware that these children are dead. And so in that grief, he reached out and performed this same thing, but after tearing apart the galaxy. So part of his conquest under the Emperor wasn't just to secure the Empire. It was to hunt down the relics, the information, and the parts needed to do what Plagueis did. So Anakin did, and in the usual fashion of the Force, Rey showed up on Tatooine, not in his living room. So that's how that all worked out, in my opinion. But now, again, like, the specialness of Anakin getting a chance to be redeemed through Rey is ruined. It's just an assembly line now of Force babies. So it kills off using that method in the future to redeem Anakin, to reincarnate him even, to give him an opportunity to live the life that was stolen from him by Palpatine. So it's just one of those things where I don't know, Plagueis being involved in this whatsoever has obliterated the Lucas canon. There's no way it holds together now. Anakin's not important. Plagueis stole their homework. It doesn't. There's no. Look, let's just get out of this one. This one even blew my mind. She had the nerve to stick Yoda in this.
Oh, okay. I love this. I want to make a note of this because obviously I'll probably put it in an article somewhere, but it might have to get buried because there's so much other good stuff that's come out around this episode today. But Headland outright admits that Yoda was not in her original plan. In the original version of her, like her original version of Acolyte, that last minute cameo was supposed to be Plagueis. Like, it was supposed to be like somebody goes to Plagueis and he like turns his head and yeah, exactly. But then she said, but then we got this idea or permission from Disney to use Yoda. And so we went, oh yeah, let's do it. And I'm just like, come on. So transparent, like absolutely so transparent. So sad.
Yeah, I didn't read cultural appropriation, just these characters we made. The first, yeah, exactly. There it is. Yep, did it the first. You got it. But here we are. So this is Leslie Headland's wife, who is cosplaying as a Star Wars character in this show. And it's very nice cosplay. Very nice cosplay. But it's still cosplay. And so Gary, Nerdrotic, he writes, as he's live tweeting about this yesterday, he writes, did I mention a coven of communist lesbian space witches who conceived twins without the father? No? How about a dozen Jedi dying? No? The Sith? No? Yep, still around. How about the double cover-up of the Jedi murdering lesbian space witches? Ah, must have slipped my mind.
See, and that is what it does. You're right, Cider. Like the Yoda thing, more than anything, sort of breaks all that canon for those reasons. And what is it that I thought about earlier? Oh, how does he not, if he's able to sense like Padme dying or like Anakin dying, right? Yeah. Like, how does he not detect a full-on like a full squad of Jedi dying, right? Like, or B, a whole thread like, if again, I'm playing by their rules, I don't like it, but this is the hand we're dealt. If these witches are connected by the thread and that's the Force, and they're dead because they got cut off from it, shouldn't Yoda feel some disturbance in the Force? Like, it was a lot of people. It wasn't just like 2 guys or 2 witches. It was easily like 50 people, 100 people. So it just breaks canon. It makes all of their future actions make absolutely zero sense. That's unfortunately what we got with this series. This episode does what it does a really good job of is establishing Disney canon, but that in establishing Disney canon and reiterating Disney canon, it continues, pooping all over Lucas's like original vision. One of the things I think that stood out to a lot of viewers, I know it stood out to me, was the concept of bleeding, which we saw in the show for the first time. I know one of the most unfortunate names to ever be given to something, especially with when it makes its first live action appearance in a series that's first poster was very tampon memed. It's a very unfortunate occurrence. But so if you guys watched the episode, or if you didn't watch the episode, at one point Osha or May or whichever one of them it is at the time, picks up Master Soul's lightsaber, and while she's fighting Smilo Ren, it goes from blue to red. It actively changes. Now, that's a concept that's established in Disney canon. That's been here since I think like The Last Jedi, where it's called bleeding, and it's where a Jedi takes all their negative emotion and pours it into their kyber crystal, and that turns the blade red. So I think that's stupid, but it is a Disney established thing. The problem with showing it here, so how we had seen it, we had only previously seen it from Kylo Ren, and that's where it was being introduced. So for the most part, we could go, oh, this is a new thing for this new era that this new Knights of Ren era generation of Sith does to their crystals. But now you have it all the way back in the High Republic. That means, well, what about all those times? Why didn't Anakin's lightsaber turn red when he was fighting Obi-Wan Kenobi? Why didn't it turn red in the Clone Wars?
People.
When he killed the Sand People, when he killed the younglings in the Clone Wars Gennady cartoon, when he fights Asajj Ventress and is like slamming her to the point where the cliff breaks. When Luke is fighting Darth Vader in Return of the Jedi, why didn't it turn red? Like that breaks all this canon, because all of that technically should have happened. But no, it because it didn't, and now it is just a complete mess nowadays. Like, yeah, there's nothing to take away from this except you just made everything messier. There's no improvement here to Star Wars lore.
Volume dealer got it. He says that looks like a bottle rocket pop. Yep, it looks like a rocket pop, a battle rocket pop. Gonna stab somebody with my. You ever having a sword fight with your popsicles, don't you? You and your friends having a
No,
sword fight with a popsicle?
no, absolutely
Yeah.
not. Because I was poor, and if you lost your
Oh.
popsicle, that was it for the day. So hell no, I'm not wasting my popsicle on a 3-second fight that I will probably lose because I'm small and fat at the time.
Whatever. But yeah, this looks like a rocket pop. I agree. Now the other question I have about this, right? So what is the point of a Sith saber then? We saw that Dooku. We see that Palpatine. We see that even Vader has his own saber. It's not his saber from when he was a Jedi. He has his own custom saber now. So if the lightsabers themselves can be corrupted over, wouldn't that be the method? Wouldn't that be more poetic that they take their Jedi-made lightsaber to the dark side with them as a symbol? I know that's the goal here, but the problem is that they don't execute that. There's no reference for this. It is a Kyber crystal, and when they assemble this, it to my knowledge, it's not like a Pokemon. The crystal doesn't choose them. They learn how to assemble it with the Force. It's not a rifle that they put together with a soldering iron. They have to use the Force to put it together, and that's how they complete their training in the meditation cycle. Because I think that's what happened with Starkiller, right? He had to put together his own lightsaber before Vader would train him in anything else.
It's like the first mission of the game. Yep, you're right on point.
And so this doesn't make any sense because all Vader would do is just hand him this dead dad's Jedi lightsaber and say, "Turn it wed. When it's wed, you will be my Atlantis."
It's a really bad change. I can sort of understand. Look, the concept of you have multicolored weapons, and when you go bad, when your rage gets the best of you, it transforms into red. I'm not against that concept. We've seen that in a lot of media. I mean, it's a very big Toku sort of plot point. Like the person lets their negative emotions get the best of them. They turn into the dark version, right? The problem is it doesn't work in the established canon. And it doesn't work in the canon, and it just ruins absolutely everything and makes just no sense. Again, like, why couldn't we have, if this was what happened, I can imagine a really hard scene in Revenge of the Sith where during the battle on Mustafar, Anakin gets Obi-Wan's lightsaber and maybe that cracks and turns red. And that's ooh, so scary. So wah, 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 wah. But no, it's a retcon that they put in. And now we all have to just imagine that you know what we're going to get, Cider? We're going to get a bunch of comic books or trading card entries or whatever that say something like, Luke didn't bleed his lightsaber because Yoda's voice was telling him not to fully go over the edge. Like, they're gonna do that stupid level of retcon.
I can't wait.
They're at the comic book level of retconning. It's so stupid. I can see it.
You remember all the yellow sabers, right? I'm holding an invisible lightsaber. Remember all the yellow lightsabers, right?
Yeah, of course.
Get this. So the more righteous, because Yoda's is green. So the more righteous and remember Obi-Wan's is green. So the more righteous and pure of a Jedi you are, you will bleed your Kyber crystal into a green lightsaber, which is the ultimate pinnacle of righteous Jediism. And I guarantee you that's what they'll do, is the red is when you rage bleed, and when you green is when you God bleed or whatever, light bleed.
Like that's you're breaking good, right? Yeah, like that.
Your Bankai.
Yeah, it's like if Vader reignited his lightsaber after he threw over Palpatine, like that, then it would have turned green. Yeah, exactly. Oh, dude, you're totally right, because they're gonna do. Look, all right. The dumbest thing happened at the end of this episode, and I have to just recap it because it's gonna tie into what we're gonna talk about. But essentially, this episode ends with May and O.S.C.A. literally kind of swapping spots, where O.S.C.A. is now going over to the dark side to train with Smilo Ren, and May is an amnesiac under the care of the Jedi because Smilo Ren wipes her memory. It's really convoluted. It's really stupid. But essentially, it sets up, here's O.S.C.A.'s journey. She's going to go train now. And look, if this is the High Republic era and they got all this time, I can 1000% see, especially with the fact, with Leslie Headland's obsession with the Force is so gray and there's no black and white here, that they're going to do that for O.S.C.A. O.S.C.A.'s journey is going to be, I went to the dark side, but I was never truly bad. I was actually good the whole time. And we're going to get that redemption, because that's what everything is nowadays. Everything is a stupid redemption arc for the villains only. For the villains only. Like, Master Soul gets thrown under the bus so hard in this episode, and it just genuinely sucks. Like, the one good character, and maybe that was the point of the episode, but it was just really, really bad.
RGB lightsabers. RGB
So,
lightsabers.
It's funny you bring that up, HD, because so I don't know if they still make them, because I haven't gone to an Ollie's in like 12 years, so I haven't seen a Star Wars toy in that amount of time. But back when the prequels came out, they used to have these lightsaber toys that were telescoping. So like they would collapse, and then you like flick them out and they go whoop whoop whoop, and they like extend, and you hit like a button and it lights up and it's got noises. Woo, 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 so cool. I had one that I got in a special bundle for Revenge of the Sith, where it was Anakin's lightsaber, but it was a clear blade, but it had if you pushed a button, it would flip like color, like film on the bottom. So when you hit the light, it would be blue, then you could hit another button and it would turn red. And that was the exact thought I had here. I was just like, oh, they just hit the other color option on their lightsaber. The other color. Awesome.
Yep. RGB lightsaber. But now I have to show you lightsabers are now mood rings. You're correct.
Yeah, they 100% are. Again, we need to make the graphic for the cider predictions, because they always come like true. If not 100%, then 95% true. You will see a good mood break. Like, you will see somebody break good, or if you're like DC, you will see somebody break sad. Have you seen that? I don't want to detour us too much, but did you guys, Nerdigans Cider, did you see that? There is a new lantern in the DC canon. So obviously you got your greens, your reds, your yellows, all that, right, your blacks, your white. There's now the sadness lantern, whose power is motivated by being sad. And the reason he is so sad is because he worked at Ferris Air back in the day and was in love with Carol, but she fell in love with Hal and left him. So he's very, very sad now. And now he has powers that come from being sad. And he's the sad lantern. I am not making this up at freaking all.
Thank God Batman Ninja is coming, because the Green Lantern in Batman Ninja is so freaking hot. She is gorgeous.
I cannot wait. If you guys haven't seen Batman Ninja out there, I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. One of the very rare animes where it's done all in CG, but it looks really, really good. Like, none of it is like low quality or choppy or whatever. But
the key visuals though are just spectacular. I've seen the Flash one, I've seen Batman, and I've seen Green Lantern, and I think I saw one other one, but man, Flash and Green Lantern just were like, they were so beautiful.
So
I mean, like, I'll pass on the Batman Ninja talk. Nerdigans and I could have that forever. Maybe she and I will have our own Batman Ninja stream when the trailers drop. But yeah, let's keep going on Acolyte, because we could go for 8 years.
I just wanna get through it, because this is kind of important. What happens here? You'll notice this. They ripped off the Destructo disc scene from Namek.
Oh wait, hold on. Does this start from when Soul's still on top? Right? No.
This starts from when Soul is attacking him, but they're not flying in this way. They've already landed on.
Okay. They've already done the anime land, because that's what I noticed. That it was a very. I swear land. It's the shot from there. It's a shot from the Cell Saga when Goku's beating, or when he's fighting Cell. Goku like lands, and then he like shoots to the side, and then they start doing their like.
Yeah, they're running at each other.
This is the second Goku versus Cell like reference that I'm seeing in like the last 24 hours, like with the last one being in Goddess Cafe Terrace.
Yeah,
which is it's crazy.
That one's bad. At least that one's Japanese.
That one was sick too. Go read it. It's awesome.
So here's Kamir throwing the lightsabers like Frieza throws the discs. All right, now you'll notice he deflects him just like Goku did. Pang, pang, vroom, vroom. You remember, and there it is. They're deflected up. But wait, you remember when Frieza said, "I'm not done," he's still doing his near thing, right? So here he is. He's running at him. He's controlling him. He's bringing him back around. He's going to try and cut him. And it's
shoulders it.
Force fart. Force fart. And it's gone. So it's the force farted him away. Look. Just like that.
So I will say this, and it links into what both of you are saying. So, Nerdigans, the reason you're seeing so many, and yeah, Goddess Cafe Terrace, that's a manga that's a little different, but we are starting to see, not just in the Acolyte, but in lots of productions, more and more anime references, video game references, the things that we all grew up with. And that's because the people of our generation are now the people who are in charge of these things. So they get to take all, they're going to say, oh, throw in an Evangelion reference, throw in an Akira bike slide, which, by the way, I think should be, I am sick of the Akira bike slide. I think if you put that reference in, you're not saying like, oh, I like Akira. You're going, I like the idea of being a fan of anime. Like, I like anime. Don't you like that I like anime? Because it's, I don't know. I know that's a tangent. Everybody uses it. It is so absolutely tired. But back to the point here, yes, it is 100% a ripoff of the Dragon Ball Z moment between Goku and Frieza. Like I said a couple seconds ago, the shot right before this might as well be ripped right out of an anime where the Stranger and Master Soul jump down and they're like floating, and then Master Soul uses he pushes himself. It's very anime-y. And to that point, like when I watched this episode last night, I will admit that one moment when Master Soul does his fart was a pretty cool visual. I was like, oh, that's exciting. That's something. And I think that sort of just speaks to where we are creatively, where the best things we're getting are anime inspired. Like they had to go, let's take that Dragon Ball scene and put it here. And it gives us the one cool thing we got from this entire series. And it is sad. Like we don't have talent or creativity in large spades anymore like we used to. Now, for some reason, who comes to mind is Monty Ohm, right? The late Monty Ohm. Like that guy, he knew how to do action scenes and fight choreography. And he took a lot of inspiration from anime. And now you see everybody's going, oh, maybe Monty was onto something. Maybe we should look to, and we know we have this talk every week on Tokyo Happy Hour where they know they've got to take advice, or they know that anime is good and they know they should copy it, but they know they absolutely will not. So who knows?
Look at Avatar: The Last Airbender. That's very anime inspired, but they do their own thing with it, and it looks incredible.
Yeah.
So a lot of the trouble
because there's a difference between inspiration and just directly copying it, right? Nerdigans, and that is the whole differentiation.
The problem is they've forgotten what they were doing. You remember what happened when Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon showed up? Everybody and their brother got a wire team after that. Power Rangers, as you know, just started flying all over the screen like superheroes.
It was weird.
Flew into the sky, And so this is what's happened, is that the popularity of anime has infected Hollywood. They don't want to admit it. They want to protect themselves from anime, so they're taking everything they can think of out of it, including stuff that's so iconic, like Goku deflecting the Destructo discs. They're doing that almost frame by frame reproduction of that, because they understand how cool and iconic that is, and your brain goes, I remember that. That's very cool. So it's ridiculous, so much so, right, that they're stuck on this path that OSHA steals this choke force from Vader.
Oh man. I have another thing I want to bring up. Let's talk about this first, because let's talk about this. So you can hit play. Essentially, this episode 100% ends with, remember how her mission was to kill a Jedi without using a weapon? Well, we get our first instance of a force choke. So again, another big bad signature moment from a previously male iconic character given to a new, updated, diverse lead, essentially, like a new hero, new protagonist.
And
then he dies.
Yep. As usual, give the male's power, purpose to a woman. And then she's valid. He's holding his breath for a really long time. I didn't know the Jedi could hold their breath that long. That's really cool.
It's called force breathing. All right.
Force breathing.
I wish you would read up on your Marvel Comics canon, because that's where they explain. I don't know if that's true at all. I'm just
it probably is.
I know.
Little bubbles, little force bubbles around their lungs. So.
Like in or like, what is it? Sonic the Hedgehog, when you get the bubble power up and you can breathe underwater permanently as long as it's active. It's that to a T.
They literally drew out this scene.
Yes.
You remember the force choke that Vader practices is meant to be a threat. he doesn't kill anybody until I want to say Rogue One with it, and I think it's like twice he does it in the hallway. That he grabs somebody and tosses him into the wall by their neck. I don't think he stands and chokes anybody. He throws a guy up against the ceiling and drags him around a lot. But other than that, I don't remember him choking anybody for 2 minutes.
No, I mean, you also see, like, remember, he chokes what's his name in the control room.
Yeah, the first.
Yeah, in A New Hope for, like, I don't know, let's be generous and say 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Probably. After that, the dude is like, like, he's like about to die. It wasn't just like a, you know, be careful squeezing 50 Shades of Grey. It was, you're about to go down 100%.
Yeah. Master Soul. Oops, it keeps turning the sound on. Thanks, Elon. But and there she is. She's just staring at him like, what is this, Leslie? What is this? What am I supposed to get out of this scene? Like, right about now would be when the whole thing should have ended. Right now should have been when Soul's body
this
fell
whole thing
over.
should have ended like 2 episodes in.
I get it, but this choke scene is already too long, and it should have ended right now with him falling over and his breath, you know, like breath leaving him, that kind of thing. But it's still going. It's still going. It's still going. He's still alive. He's still... And she's just... What is this face? This isn't, I'm killing a man. This is,
I don't know.
I don't understand the tax filing language.
They're trying too hard to be deep. That is 100% what it is. They're like, oh, look how emotional this is. When in reality, it's like, what are you, like, you are being too performative here. This is sort of like, here's why this scene sort of breaks it down, right? It feels like they know they're being watched and doing a performance rather than a story is happening in front of you and this is something that's naturally happening. It's like they went, oh, hold on, I got to make sure that I do this slowly so that the imaginary, you know, biographer over here gets everything. And it's like, no, that takes us out of it. That takes us out of it because by story logic, again, because it's still human logic, Soul should have been dead. We're at 52 seconds in. He should have been way, like, past his expiration date.
20 seconds ago, but you know who's not dead?
Don't worry, guys. Weeks and weeks of lesbian space witches were all worth it because we got Dark Plagueis? Question mark? Question mark? Question mark?
Maybe.
No, we got Yoda. Aren't you so excited? We got Yoda. Yoda.
Oh, is it baby Yoda or is it teenage Yoda?
Old Yoda, because he's
teenage Yoda
forever. Yeah. Yeah, like, yeah, right. You can imagine, like, imagine they put teenage Yoda in here. They'd be like, bitches you don't have. Fuck your mom, I did.
Like, Mitch Ryan brings up a great point here. Like, why doesn't he defend himself? Force users are better matched against Force users because they can resist each other and their abilities and negate each other. So is the Force choke unresistible? Again, that's one of those elements of they are too focused on what this scene should represent and what they think they're communicating and not enough on how it makes sense. Why is Soul just sitting there when he could push back, when he could, you know, get his lightsaber out? It is pathetic, really. It's just really, really bad writing.
Yeah, we're still not done.
No, we are not. We still got a lot to go.
And she's still
20 seconds.
He's still not dead. He's still not dead. This man has held his breath for a minute now. Having no chance to fill his lungs, by the way. So he was either mid-breath or out of breath when she grabbed him by the neck. He did not fill his lungs before being force choked. And he's still alive. You are over a minute now, and this asshole is still alive.
It's like Master Soul's auditioning for the Playboy Mansion.
Look at it. She's about to laugh. She's about to break and laugh. Like the camera is about to make her laugh. Like somebody's like making off camera, and she's about to giggle. Look at that.
Yeah, that's not a good crying, sad thing.
And a minute 17.
Keep in mind that's OSHA. That's not May. That's OSHA. Like that's the one who was under his protection and everything. Like, again, it's so dumb.
Spencer, RJ, he's got it here. He can't breathe. Justice for Asian Jedi. We don't even remember his name. He's just Asian Jedi.
Why do you think
I
Tatooine
love
looks
it.
like Tatooine and Jakku look like that now because of this event? The
It's
fallout
true.
from this event leads to what happens at
They
Tatooine.
burned down. They burned down Tatooine. Yep, they burned down Tatooine. You know, it would be funny if you did it backwards, right? So you show O.R.C.A killing Soul, and then the witch is burning inside of the so there's like a riot after they kill Soul, and then they wipe them out inside the castle.
What could this imagery mean? Yeah, no, Hates Me in the HD says, look at the hand. She couldn't even act the force choke well. That's something that stood out to me because there's a scene. All right, the scene in Revenge of the Sith where Anakin and Obi are fighting the Duel of the Fates. There's a moment where they get in each other's faces and they try to force push each other. And it looks really, really stupid as a whole scene because it is just two grown men standing there putting their palms up like fingertips next to each other and like looking very intently at each other. But you can tell that Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen, like they're straining, they're essentially miming like being up against a really strong wall. You don't get any sort of like resistance here. She's just doing it. Again, she just knows how to do it. It just comes natural to her.
Is she
right?
is she wait for it? Doing it well? Is that how she doing?
It's not that hard.
A plus.
To use the force against another force user.
Mm.
You just have to pretend like you're trying to live.
Why is it that every time
there?
How come every time I watch a scene from this show, it looks like a bad episode of like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers?
Because it really essentially is that. Like you are genuinely not far off at all. Like this entire show is made up of those moments where in Power Rangers they like talk like, okay, we should make our way back to the juice bar. Let's go. And then there's that awkward pause where they walk off so that they do the screen transition. That's what, like that awkward pause walk is what this entire show is people like being quiet and then walking away to their next location.
You just need O.R.C.A with a communicator from Khmer that says, doot, 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 doot. O.R.C.A, there is a Jedi in your vicinity. Please
They had
dispatch
that
immediately.
essentially. It was the stupid little robot gadget that will be in Ollie's very soon.
true.
That's what it was. Okay, so the thing before we move on from the Acolyte, I want to bring up one specific thing that really, really bugged the hell out of me, and it's not the first time Star Wars has done this, and I don't even think it's the first time the Acolyte has done this. But in the very beginning of the episode, when May wakes up on Soul's ship and, makes her escape attempt, right before she goes, like she hits the escape pod, she goes, "See you in hell," and then like hits the escape pod. And I went, what? Is hell a concept in Star Wars? Like that doesn't make any, what?
You go to the Force.
You don't have any reference for that. Like, yeah, you go to the Force. There is no hell. So it like really took me out of it.
You go to hell. You go to hell. You die.
You go to hell and you die. Like that's exactly what I felt. And I'm like, that isn't Star Wars. Like, what are we? And that just really cemented in my mind. Like Leslie Headland's not writing specifically a Star Wars story. She just wrote a story and they slapped a coat of Star Wars paint on it because there's another, it's Ahsoka. In Ahsoka, they call Ahsoka a Ronin. They're like, oh yeah, you're a Ronin now, aren't you? And it's like, wow, how do you know a Japanese samurai concept? Like that doesn't make any, I hate it.
And if you do drugs, you go to hell before you die.
If you do the dark side, you go to hell before you die.
No, apparently the dark side's sexy. That's literally, there's an interview. I'll be covering it as soon as we're done with the live stream tonight. But Leslie Headland is just like, yeah, the dark side is sexy. That's the whole appeal of it. That's why she went over. And I'm just like, be quiet. All of you weirdo, like I don't want to read horny fan fiction from like male writers. I especially don't want to like read horny fan fiction from neoliberal like women.
Have you ever read fan fiction from like a lonely 35-year-old woman? Like it is like the saddest, most disturbing thing you've ever read in your entire life.
It's called She-Hulk. Like She-Hulk is exactly what that was. It's the oh look, I have all these powers, but I still have all these problems because I'm so like it's just fan fiction writers need to go. We need to get rid of all the Rick and Morty writers, all of these fan fiction writers, and just get some. honestly, get Cider to fully script out his evil Ray concept. Get Star Wars Theory to
Dude,
get Star Wars
Cider
Theory
could just
wasted, and he
Cider
could
can
put out
literally
something
just
better.
like type out like Star Wars prompt and like AI and then come up with a better script than what was given to us in this Disney Plus project. Like Cider doesn't even have to like put in any effort whatsoever, and it'll still be better than what we got.
You don't even have to say Star Wars. Just be like, write me a teen drama with lightsabers, and it would give you the exact same thing we got.
Mm-hmm.
So the bottom line of all of this is that the Acolyte was 8 episodes like of nothing. We started from nowhere, we ended with nowhere. All this series managed to do was, like always, piss people off and like step all over canon more and more and more. I've said this on previous live streams, I'll say it again. This is a disaster for Disney. This was supposed to be their, for lack of a better term, like they're showing out after Iger and after Feige and after
this was supposed fundamentally, this was supposed to get people hyped for the idea that hey, in a couple of years we got a new Star Wars trilogy coming out, baby. Bingo. We're so back.
Yeah, exactly. It was supposed to be the we are so back effect. And there is a chart going around that was made by Matt Baloney over at the Puck. If you don't know Baloney, he's a very prolific, longtime veteran entertainment reporter. He has the actual like watch numbers, and the Acolyte's watch numbers are like infinitely smaller than any other Star Wars series. Even the worst thing you guys can think of, Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, those all have at least the like double or triple the viewership of the Acolyte. This was a categorical disaster. And as Snake said a little while ago, 180 million. They paid 180 million for all of this. Where did that money go? It went to CGI Darth Plagueis, to cameo Yoda at the very end. No, dude, there's absolutely money laundering.
Quick question, because this has been a theme for Disney Star Wars for like a while now, where they just give you like 2.5 hours of just other shite, and then at the last moment be like, oh, here's a Star Wars character that you remember from another Star Wars movie. Because they did this in Solo, where it's like you have to sit through that abomination that Solo was. At the very last minute, it's like, oh my god, it's Darth Maul. It's like, oh yeah, that went somewhere, right? That Darth Maul cameo. You guys remember the Darth Maul cameo?
Even more than Marvel, the Star Wars cameos are all member berries, please clap. It is so hilarious.
All right, so I took that challenge. Okay. So at first it gave me a bunch of gobbledygook, so just ignore this crap. So here we go.
What did you call me?
No, not gobbledygook. Gobbledygook, very different. So please give me a synopsis of a teen drama CW style Star Wars show, steamy romance between two unlikely lovers. That's it. That's all I gave it. It pitched out a bunch of this crap we don't have time for, so I asked it to shorten it. So it says, in the prestigious Imperial Academy on Coruscant, Kara Voss, a loyal Imperial officer's daughter, falls in love for Jack Starfall, a charming smuggler's son secretly working for the rebellion. Their forbidden romance navigates dangerous secrets and divided alliances, while their friends, Lila and Rin, get entangled in love triangles and political intrigue. Kara and Jax's relationship deepens. They face the Academy's ruthless politics, rivalries, and the constant threat of discovery. Lila, secretly in love with Jax, struggles with her feelings, while Rin competes for Jax with Kara's affection, unaware of his true identity. Talia, a rebel spy, finds herself torn between duty and her growing feelings for Rin. Amidst betrayals, stifling loyalties, Kara uncovers unsettling truths about the Empire, forcing her to confront her beliefs. Jax must protect both Kara and his mission, navigating love and loyalty in a galaxy where trust is scarce and betrayal looms large.
Sounds better than what we got. At least it sounds coherent at the very least.
Took like 2 minutes. And see, it gave me all the characters up here.
Did that also give us a heterosexual relationship in a Star Wars movie?
Yeah, 3 of them. 3 of them.
I think that's more than Disney Star Wars has had in what? How long has it been now? 10 years?
All of them, actually. You know, so Kara Voss, a talented pilot. You know, Jax, a charming, rebellious smuggler. It gives us all the character things. So, you know, every now and then I do wonder if Leslie Headland didn't just wander over to ChatGPT and was like, "Can you give me a shit tier fanfic?"
No, I know she did. Like, the only reason I know she didn't do that is because this is all she knows how to write. This is what literally there are interviews where Kathleen Kennedy said, "Oh, when I was looking at Leslie Headland's work, there was a play she did about two siblings who don't have a really good relationship, and they're estranged, and they fight, and they have to, you know, build bridges after the death of their father or whatever." And then Headland comes out and goes, "Oh yeah, that was, you know, that's the story of my life. That was autobiographical." And then she puts it in the Acolyte. Like, it's the only story she knows how to write. It's so sad. That's how I know it's not a fan fiction. It's just the only thing she knows how to write. She's fan fictioning herself, essentially. She's Control F, replace you know, Leslie with O.R.C.A or something like that. Dad,
remember 20 years ago where you thought that you actually had to be good to become a writer in Hollywood? Like, remember that time where you actually thought that it required talent? Like, you actually had to have a script that made people go, "Wow, I need to turn this into a movie."
Well, now I mean, I guess that's the lesson we all learned. You don't have to be talented for anything. You just gotta either get the right ear or just write the right propaganda, and you will get thrown right to the top. You will get a Marvel job.
Oh my God, Nerdkins, where else you come from?
Jump scare. It's like that shot from The Office when Angela comes up to Dwight and he's like, "Ah,
yeah, I got shit."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, you're totally right. You're totally right, Nerdkins and Jacob. Like, it's not about talent anymore. There's maybe like 3 genuinely talented writers left. Like Taylor Sheridan is one of them, probably. Mm-hmm. That's about it. Everybody else is they wrote an episode of Rick and Morty, and now they are directing your next favorite movie or whatever.
Speaking of Taylor Sheridan, just a real quick segue. Did you hear that Kevin Costner's movie, that big Western that he released a few weeks ago? They were supposed to put part 2 of that. It was supposed to come out next month. They've pushed it back. They've canceled it indefinitely.
Ooh, isn't it supposed to be like 3 parts too? Like, I thought it was more than
No,
2.
it's supposed to be 4.
Yeah, so that's right. Like,
the first 2 were supposed to come out this year, and then I think the third one was supposed to come out in 2025, and then the fourth one was either 2026 or 2027.
And didn't he bail on Yellowstone for this?
Yes. Marriage fell apart. It was like, it's not a great look.
I'll give credit to him. Like, good on you for going out and doing what you want, like a passion project, but maybe do that on the weekends while you have your regular job.
Yeah, not to mention he probably.
But then a 24 movie is getting announced too, so I'm like, okay.
Like the TV show 24?
Yeah. It's early in production.
There's no more original ideas. Everything is completely just nostalgia baiting at this point. 24 movie? I don't know, man. I mean, react to that.
There was going to be a 24 movie, like, and there was rumors that it was in the works for a while. It should have been way back when it was like popular.
Well,
it's like, the movie, Prison Break movie.
The movie that I just saw tonight, which is the reason why I wasn't here for most of the show, was the Twisters movie, which is kind of a somewhat soft reboot of the original Twisters film. I mean, a lot of it's kind of shot for shot, but obviously I guess the technology is kind of more up to date with modern times. It's kind of like the only real thing there. But I know that the guy who's in the movie, Glenn Powell, he's supposed to be doing a remake of the Stephen King movie, The Running Man, and I think that he's also supposed to be doing like another semi-remake too.
The Running Man, that's the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger in the future where they had Cadre Cola.
That is.
What?
Oh, and even better, Edgar Wright is going to be directing that film.
Oh, so it's just going to be YouTubers. He's going to make it into YouTubers competing in this thing. That's what it's going to be. Hunger Games.
It's going to be a Mr. Beast set to star. Mr. Beast will star.
No, it'll be TikTokers, Cider, not YouTubers.
Hey, are Vine stars still a thing, or are they still around somewhere?
Back in my day.
Hey, it may be your day again, because Elon said he's interested in buying and restarting Vine as an apparatus for video hosting on X.
Why?
Why? Yeah,
just why?
Because X isn't set up for X isn't video hosting friendly. It's meant for text and conversation. It's not meant for video hosting. So when you
That's
post a video,
true.
it just gets lost in the ether. However,
That's true.
so that's why you need a video platform built into X. He's also working on a job listing function. I don't know if you've noticed that or not.
Yeah, I've noticed it.
But there's an Indeed, is a built-in Indeed part of X now where you can list your own jobs for real. You can put your resume up on there. You can get hired through there, not just for
No,
X.
We're just treading dangerous territory now. It's like, wasn't like Twitter a tool for you to lose your job like 10 years ago, and now we're creating jobs? Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing?
I just laugh at the prospect of like all these terminally online, like kids and protesters and stuff like being confronted every day with like, here's a job posting,
exactly,
get a job, go outside.
I can't wait for a Hello Kitty 6969 to post a job resume for an assistant warehouse in the manager position. It's gonna be great.
Grok noticed that you're spending 14 hours on X. This suggests that you're unemployed. Here's a list of jobs that work for social media managers and people that don't go outside.
Imagine getting denied for a job on X because you don't have enough followers and they thought you were a bot.
Right. They thought you were a bot. Well,
like, I'm sorry, you only have 34 followers. You're not a real account. Get out of here.
Yeah, we cannot hire you.
We can't hire you. You don't have enough followers. You don't have a blue check. We can't hire you. You're not real. But speaking of getting hired to do jobs you may not be qualified for, we've got the Russo brothers coming back to fix the
Guess who's back? Back again.
Yes, if you guys did not see the news from earlier today, there is a scoop coming out of the Hollywood Reporter where apparently the Russo brothers are in early talks. Whoop, just destroyed my microphone there. The Russos are in early talks to come back and direct the next 2 Avengers films. So that's the still untitled Avengers 5 and then the Avengers Secret Wars. That is unfortunately the only detail we have right now. We don't know how far along they are in that negotiation process. We don't know if anything has been signed, but according to the Hollywood Reporter, they are interested in getting back the last guys who made the studio any money. So I think the big takeaway from this, and Jacob, we talked about this a little, or all 4 of us talked about this in the company Slack a little while ago. This is desperation. There is nothing here except we do not know what to do. Please save us. Like they're bringing in all the hits, right? The Russos, RDJ, like freaking Hugh Jackman as Wolverine is back. They're scrambling. They are so still afraid. They still don't have any direction, even though they've known they needed to get one for a long time now.
It's basically like what it is right now. They realized that, hey, look, we may make some money here with Deadpool, Wolverine. The jury's still out on how well that's going to do, but we got nothing outside of that. We got 2 movies that are lined up right now that are probably going to be massive box office bombs. And then we have this Avengers movie. By the way, don't talk about Blade anymore. We're not going to speak of Blade anyway, shape, or form.
Who's Blade?
But, exactly right. Now you're getting it. You understand. So get this guy a raise.
Man. There was such a good. Time before we keep going. I have to give credit where credit was due. There was such a good dig by Variety at Blade and Kevin Feige. So Variety recently did an interview with Kevin Feige about what's the future of mutants. What was Deadpool's production like? Unfortunately, nothing that exciting. Otherwise, I would have covered it. But basically, at one point during the interview, they asked, like, how far does this go? Like, what is this? And Feige basically goes like, it's more raunchy and it's bloody, but it is still an R movie. We're really happy to finally be getting an R movie introduced into the MCU. Like, we think it'll bring in everybody. And then the immediate photo following that statement was a photo from the Wesley Snipes Blade movie, and the caption was like, Marvel's Blade movie is still in pre-production hell and still has no confirmed release date. And I was just like, oh, like even Variety knows that the jig is up. Even the mainstream press is finding a way to take their shot.
Even Variety is like, yeah, that's what you get for giving all your exclusives to the Hollywood Reporter, you son of a bitch.
Exactly. Like, this is what you get. 2 can play this game. 2 can play the exclusives game.
So they're trying to bring the Russos brothers back to dupe the audience into thinking that, this next Avengers, this shit right here, nigga, this shit right here, it's like it's gonna be exactly the same as like Infinity War and Endgame, and it's like it's not gonna work. It's like I said, look, I thought about this for the last couple of days. I haven't really put it out there. I guess we can put it out here now, and this is how it's like really bad. Like let's be honest about this here. Do you think that it's a strong possibility that they bring back Jonathan Majors so he can play the role of Kang, so they can go back to their original plan with the Avengers movie after all this time?
No. No, they're bringing the Russos in. Oh, wait, what were you going to say, Spencer?
I was going to say, my knee-jerk reaction is no, because it was such a big public, like, you got to get the heck out of here. However, I have started noticing, not in our sphere necessarily, but like from around the entertainment trades and stuff, Majors is sort of on a redemption arc. Like, he's getting awards again. He's getting more interviews again. So I'm like, maybe they do. I have no idea, because, and the only thing that makes me go, oh, they might, is that the fact that they are so lost right now. If they had a plan, if we knew what they were doing, I would go, yeah, he's probably not coming back. They know what they're doing. It's set. But the fact that we've gone to Avengers 5, Kang Dynasty, it's 5. No, it's Kang Dynasty again. No, we're hanging with 5. Actually, it might be with Secret Wars. Oh no, we're splitting it up again. Like, they don't know what they're doing. At this point, anything could happen. Literally, I mean, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, that rumor of the Secret Wars cast being like 80 people strong. That is, if that's not desperation, if that's not flailing for anything to grab onto, I don't really know what is. Like, do you guys really care if you ever see the 1960s television show Doctor Strange actor again? Did you even know there was a 1960s television show based on Doctor Strange? Like, it's all desperation, top to bottom, just all the way down.
So here's the Cider prediction, okay? Here's the Cider prediction of what this is. So what you're going to see is you're going to see basically a rehash of Infinity War and Endgame, like Jacob said. You're going to see, because they don't have a choice. There's no time to build up a threat anymore. They have to go straight into a war. And that's what Avengers 5 is going to knee-jerk into. And I have a feeling part of the reshoots, which we'll discuss in just a minute, part of the reshoots with Captain America, Brave New reshoots, is that they were going to leave it off and let Avengers 5 feed into Secret Wars. They can't do that now. Deadpool drops us in the last scene of Deadpool is the first scene of Secret Wars, according to Ryan Reynolds. This means that if we do not pick up Secret Wars in Avengers 5, the audience will be completely lost when Secret Wars shows up again a year and a half later. Okay?
Oh, you're right.
So they don't have time. Avengers 5 won't have anything to do with Kang. The Avengers 5 will be all about connecting Doctor Doom into the multiverse. I still insist, if they bring Majors back for anything, it'll be for the scene where Doctor Doom absorbs all the Kangs into himself. And I'm not trying to be funny. That whole thing,
I know.
That's a massive powerhouse of characters. All of those Kangs together could raise hell. And now imagine them, he's all the Kangs, right? That's the joke. But what I'm getting at is that they don't have a choice now. They have to make Doctor Doom a multiverse level threat in one movie, because the Secret Wars movie has to be introducing everybody who gives a damn about that, then killing him. They don't have time.
They need to introduce him. And then while you were saying that, I thought about think about okay, Thanos, right? We got him built up over movies. He became this big cosmic threat. If we went forward and went this next enemy is a Thanos level threat, we could understandably expect the audience to go oh, okay, I get it. We don't really need the big epic setup, but we can understand this is a bad guy. But we've had What If and all these sequels where, Kang got beaten by ants. Thanos got snapped out of existence. These aren't threats anymore. So now you not only have to introduce them, you have to convince the audience oh, no, guys, for real. It's this is really, really scary. It's going to please hang out here. But then
that's what
or no, you go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
And that's what I'm saying about this is that we've got right here, we got Raid by Nature. He says, or introduced the Beyonder. Now, Doctor Doom is going to become the Beyonder. That's the point of him absorbing all the Kangs, is that he has enough power to break reality and then reform it into Battle World, which is basically the Beyonder. But what is going to be the permanent Beyonder, what I want to get at is it'll be the Battle of the Beyonders at the end. They'll introduce Franklin Richards. And that'll be the character that finishes Doctor Doom, and that will be the character that restarts the Marvel Universe for them, so they can go back to Tony Stark being in the desert, getting free. You know, maybe Riri Williams is in the desert this time. I don't know what they'll do. But this reboot is going to kick off with Franklin
Oh
Richards.
yeah, that show is still coming out. I still forgot about Ironheart.
Yep. And that's what
that
I mean
one
is
that's been in the can for like a year and a half now.
I think it's been for 3 years. Didn't Ironheart get announced before Black Panther Forever came out?
It was announced around
like
that
right
time period,
around
but
it, yeah.
it was finished, I think, like right around the time that movie came out.
Yeah, so there you go. You're right, a year and a half. Yeah. And so here we are, though, is that the Russos are being brought in because they're just going to do Infinity War and Endgame over again. There's no time to build up a threat. They have to use Kang's not a threat. The only way for him to be scary enough now is if he did what I said Dr. Doom would do and absorb all the Kangs into himself and become this Beyonder level power that can reform the multiverse into Battle World. That's the only option they have. And so that's what you're going to see. You're going to see Kang or Dr. Doom. And I'm thinking it's going to be Dr. Doom because there's no time to reintroduce Majors and say he's a good guy now. It was less than 6 months ago that he was the devil. So there's nothing we can do at this point.
Yeah,
They're
I mean,
being brought in to just full throttle this to a reboot. It is all ahead full into reboot land.
Because like you know, obviously I'm sure a lot of us are thinking here, like the point of comparison is James Gunn, who obviously different situations, but Gunn got, you know, very publicly fired and then he came back. But what was that, Cider? That was like 2-3 years, right? Like
Yeah,
that
he
took
was
a
almost
long time for that.
He was almost a year and a half like making indie film to stay like keep eating until Disney was like, BT Dubs, bro, we're not really mad at you. Come on back.
So Jacob hit this point earlier where, you know, or one of you two did, where there, you know, there is not enough time. They have to just sort of rush everything in there and they can't do a lot. You know, the situation is really reminding me of The Force Awakens. You bring in these directors who are relatively popular. You say, we are desperate right now. We need to make sure this movie appeals to the biggest audience possible because we've chased everybody away. What do we do? And you bring in the guys to give you a soft copy of Infinity War. And yeah, so Cider, you're probably right. First Avengers is going to be all this setup of Doom, of getting together all these heroes. And then the second one is going to be the full on Zack Snyder's Justice League CGI Noise Fest 2029 or whatever year it eventually comes out.
You get a bunch of random grunts that mean nothing. You totally forget who they are, what they look like, what they do. And their only purpose is to let you see what the heroes who are being introduced are capable of.
Right.
That's all they're meant to do, is to catch fire so you can see what 60s Doctor Strange can do. So you can see what Wolverine, who is played by Henry Cavill, whatever his name is, what he's able to do. That's it. That's all these are going to be. I guarantee you will have Cyclops doing the whole circle blast, doing the eye blast in a complete 360 in the movie to demonstrate what he can do. And that'll be an introductory scene of the X-Men. He'll be blasting him away in a circle. Then you have Jean land behind him and take the heads off of the monsters. Then Storm will land behind her and electrocute the next row of monsters. And as they show up, they'll eliminate. And that'll show what they're all capable of in succession. And that's what the point of all of it is to just get to reboot land. Here's all the things that we've got in this universe. Now we're going to reboot it. Too late, guys. If you liked it, fuck you. And that's what they'll do. Expect to see Robert Downey Jr. return. And
1,000%.
My thinking is, as I said before about this, and I'll put the banner back up for anybody who doesn't like the spoilers that I give years in advance of the movie coming out, but my thinking is Tony Stark from another timeline is trying to figure out time travel to stop Thanos, and he's experimenting and he travels through time and ends up in Doom's universe. Because of that, because the divine timeline is broken. That's what Kang's issue was. So this means that Tony can jump through timelines just by breaking out of his own by trying to solve the equation. So he shows Doom that there are other multiverses, other universes in the multiverse, and that leads Doom into the stadium of Kangs. That's my thinking, is how this all kicks off. So you'll see RDJ return, and well, exactly. He'll be trying to reach Cap. Actually, that makes more sense. There'll be an alternate universe Tony Stark trying to reach to his Cap, who went back in time. It'll be like just a little bit off. So maybe maybe Agent what's her face with the big boobies, Agent McTitties there. She maybe she's black in this setting, right? So he goes back in time to be with her. And so that Tony Stark trying to reach out to that Captain America skips into a different universe and accidentally contacts Doom, and that'll be the last scene of the Fantastic Four movie, which will introduce them into the Secret War mess. That actually makes more sense now that I think that through. That's probably what they'll do, be the initiator. So yeah, and again, they could do whatever. I don't care. I know. I just enjoy trying to figure out what their like lowbrow attempt at like a dollar store.
But here's
Avengers
the
movie's
flaw.
gonna be.
Here's the flaw in Insider's entire setup. There is that he's still thinking of someone who wants to make this thing good or make it make sense in any way, shape, or form. It's like you have to
You
understand.
got
Like
me.
exactly, you were thinking that like, okay, we need to fix this. How do we fix this? It's like, okay, here's what we do. It's like, remember when we were talking about this whole idea of like pitch meetings and like people coming together like in a room to figure out like what's the best step forward. I think we've made it very, very clear now over the last several years that that doesn't happen in Hollywood no more. There's no running ideas back and forth, no bouncing ideas off of one another. It's just basically, oh my god, how do we make $2 billion the next Avengers? I don't know, bro. Call the Russo brothers. Like brilliant. We'll bring them back to the fold. It's like, what's the story? I don't know. Who's the Avengers this time around? I don't know. Who's the villain this time? I don't know. It's like, okay. Okay, so we're okay, right? I don't know. And then here we are.
So quite literally, here we are. Thanks to Yellow Flash, we have this information you showed us a little earlier. Marvel has switched Sabra in the Captain America Brave New Reboots movie to a Russian spy from being a Israeli superhero. How about that?
So here's the question, because if they're changing her to a Russian spy, does that mean that her character was supposed to be a villain in the series to begin with? And part of the reason for the reshoots was that, someone in Hollywood was like, yeah, you're not going to have an Israeli superhero be the bad guy of everything going on at the Gaza Strip right now. So you might want to change that up just a little bit. So could that possibly have anything to do? Now, look, that is obviously not the only thing going on with this film. I mean, let's be honest, I don't think she was that big of a character. You can just change that around with like a handful of lines and stuff like that. That doesn't require you to reshoot an entire movie. This thing's an absolute dumpster fire from the jump. Now, how much have we invested into this film at this point? $375 million onto the film. Well, we basically shot this film twice. Essentially is what we've done. We shot it twice.
Yep.
So
the DVD extras are going to be a choose your own adventure for this movie. That's what it's going to
in
be.
all honesty, if I were them, because they probably need the money at this point, I would just include the original cut of the film in the DVD in the Blu-ray and just be like, here's the first cut of the movie that nobody likes. So
no, it's great. You go in, you get the DVD, hit the DVD open, the menu opens. It's like, would you like to watch the film where Captain America defeats Israel? Would you like to watch the Captain America where Captain America saves Israel? Or would you like to watch a film where Captain America defeats Russia? This is your choices. It's like you get to...
I'm gonna say this though. Even if the Israeli hero was a hero, it didn't matter. You're gonna have the psycho SJWs, the anti-Semitic SJWs. I'm not sorry, they're extremely anti-Semitic.
Anti-Semite.
No, they're extremely anti-Semitic. I'm not kidding.
Oh, yeah.
I have to deal with them. They straight up say that no, you need to have this bitch out. We do not want her. She cannot be in this movie because Zionist bullcrap. Nah, if you're gonna say Zionist, that is bullcrap. It's not just anti-Zionist stuff.
Here's the thing: we've been covering this for several months, and before they even announced like the whole new cycle of reshoots for this film, they were going after this actress for the sole purpose that she was Israeli, not because she said anything wrong, not because she did anything wrong, just because she happens to be from the country that they hate at the moment, and they wanted her gone just on the sole purpose of that. So they thought that she was going to be in this film portrayed as the good guy, but like I said, if they're changing her to a Russian spy, that implies that she probably wasn't the good guy in this film, which now probably, so they went from upsetting the fan base potentially to upsetting the executives of the film, which means that this whole thing's just an absolute mess. Like, keep in mind, this is still a film. But they're banking $400 million on this Captain America movie on Anthony Mackie as a drawing star. Has Anthony Mackie proven in anything that he has the drawing power to recoup what literally needs to be $1 billion box office return minimum?
No. Also, keep in mind, these same people, this is not just October 7th. These same people were going after Gal Gadot as well. They did not, it does not matter.
Well, like I said, they've been going after Gal for years because Gal has been like unapologetically like pro-Israel, and it's like every time she goes after her mosque, like they just absolutely just like savage her. And then the reason why they went after her even harder is because after the attack last October, she rented out like a movie theater and played one of the anti-Hamas movie. I can't remember the exact name of the movie, but she played some movie there that upset a whole bunch of the leftist pro-Palestine people. So they've been going after her for a while too. Once again, it's like I would think from this perspective, it's like, well, of course she's pro-Israel. That's where she's actually from. It's like, do you expect her to be like? I don't know if they expect everyone in Hollywood to be Natalie Portman, but everyone in Hollywood is not Natalie Portman. I just put it as simply as I possibly can.
So it's like, I'm just gonna say this too. Like, these people, you guys need to understand, these people are pure insane. These people are anti-Semitic as hell. This is not just because of an Israeli policy. No, these people are really anti-Semitic. They are like Nazi levels of anti-Semitic. They will call you a Nazi, but they really are. They are the Nazis themselves, and they even are proud of Hitler, and they said that Hitler did nothing wrong. That's what you're dealing with here. I'm just needed to put that out there.
Isn't it funny how both the far left and the far right both hate the same enemy? Isn't that hilarious how they all just come together in that one issue?
You know what? I dealt with this in the protest community, and it's why I say it's like, why, and I told them too. It's like, why would you want me to join your side when both sides?
It's hilarious in the grand scheme of things, because it's like the commies blame the Jews for capitalism, and meanwhile the Nazis blame the Jews for communism. So they both get blamed for the exact same thing. I just personally think that's hilarious that they hate each other so much, and they're literally on the exact same aisle in this issue. The horseshoe theory, perfectly. That's perfectly where it is.
100%.
So one of the things I want to point out is there have been multiple reshoots with this. Okay, and if you track the reshoot schedule,
you might as well call it Captain America reshoots. Like, just put that movie out.
Brave
Captain
new reshoots.
Captain SJW reshoot at this point.
Psycho reshoots. Yep. So the situation is that I believe that the initial plan for this, when we take a look at what they showed us for Captain America, he did not have this dark suit. He had the lighter colored Winter Soldier suit that he was walking around with the white accents on it. Looks very nice, by the way. I like that suit. So what happens here is you take a look at Sabra's suit. All right. Now, Sabra is, of course, wearing the colors of Israel. Now, Captain America wears the colors of America, right? So I believe the initial script for this was taking revenge on the Palestinians. I believe that our introduction with Sabra was that we were going to see her with King Cobra in the Cobra gang that Seth Rollins was supposed to lead. That got completely cut from the movie, by the way.
I still think that's my favorite detail of this entire thing was they were so all the leaks for this movie before, the first leaks were, look, Seth Rollins is here. Oh my gosh, he's playing Cobra Society, and now they are just gone. I find it so funny.
Yep. And that is what we're looking at here, is they cut it out completely, because I guarantee you Sabra was in a costume like this, and MCU-ified, lots of lines, lots of glowy things, and she's beating the tar out of the Cobra gang. Now the thing is that when you look at Marvel's Cobra, he has a very recognizable color scheme to him that you, me, and everybody else. Here you go. You notice any of that? What that color scheme looks like? You notice that? What are those colors?
Looks like the Hulk to me because of that pink.
No, look at the black, the purple, the reddish pink, and the green. There you go. There's the flag of Palestine.
A faded Palestine flag, yeah.
Right. The Palestinian flag is more red than pink, but yeah, I get your point.
Right. Well, this is the 70s design for him. I guarantee you what the plan was.
I just assumed they were lizard people.
Well, it's true, And that's what the thing is that Sabra's introduction was most likely her beating the tar out of these people as like a. Do you remember when Rambo went in and just destroyed Vietnam? And people were just like very, very satisfied with America winning that war. Finally, you see Rambo went in and won that war for them, right? Destroyed all those POW camps. That's what this is about. Is that I have a very strong feeling that that's what she was supposed to be, is that she was supposed to be introduced, beating the hell out of these guys, and they were supposed to be like an Arabic kind of serpent society sort of situation where they're analogous for the Palestinians. And so it was supposed to be like this wish fulfillment of getting like a very brutal, the boys style revenge on these Palestinians. And then Captain America's supposed to show up and say, whoa, hold on, we don't go overkill. And so that was supposed to be where the contention was between him and Sabra. She's not a villain. She just goes overkill on a particular style of enemy, which again is what happens in the comics about her. She has been routinely critiqued for being stilted against like very over-the-top caricatures of the Palestinians. Now, again, I'm not making excuses for the Palestinians. What I'm saying is Marvel is doing too much propaganda. That's what I'm telling you, is they're pushing too hard. And that's what Sabra's critique has been over the years, is she's too much of a propaganda item and not a superhero. And so that's what I think really came down to this latest round of reshoots. Remember, we saw her where she's now not wearing a costume at all. She only has a black leather outfit on with a blue cuff. Now, I have a feeling that was still too much to keep her Israeli. So that's why they've now moved her into being Russian. And they've refilmed her being a villain because they announced to everybody she was in the movie. They can't just cut her out like Rollins because she's Israeli. If they cut her out, that says that they're being anti-Israeli.
And now she's just a Black Widow.
Israeli by saying that she's Russian, you might as well be saying you're anti-Israeli.
And that's
saying anti-Israeli.
But
just say she's a Russian Jew. That way you can have the best of both worlds.
I guarantee you that's where it is. That's where it lies. And she's got some tie to Doctor Doom. That's been the last reshoot, is to get a Doctor Doom reference in here where he's Putin. He's basically their KGB, and she's the link between him and the Avengers.
And another thing, it's like this actress has gotten so much hate just for being Israeli, but like that handful of videos I've actually seen from her, she looks like a small, frail, like nice little girl. It's like it's almost as if like somebody said, "Go beat her up over there." He's like that girl.
Could whoop your ass. What's funny is she probably could whoop all their asses because all Israelis
because they can't fight
in the IDF, so she probably could whoop all their asses easily.
Well, they've got a new cast out for the new Captain America. It might be some things that happen here. Got a new casting thing, so we'll just check out who their new Captain America is. All right, and she looks pretty similar. Are you seeing it? Nobody thinks this is hilarious? Come on, look at this girl.
I'm in for it. I'm in for it. Look at this. Cider, I don't think any of us are nearly as high enough to get this.
Whatever. I thought it was funny because I was imagining that Miss America character that they introduced as like the Supergirl version of Captain America. Or was it American Spirit or something? I forget what her name was. And so, I just was imagining like some cheerleader girl dressed up like that, but she's got these huge anchor arms on her. She's the new Captain America. Like she's Ross's daughter. She's Betty. That's Betty. She doesn't go full Red Hulk. She goes like half Hulk.
She's got the scroll powers from Emilia Clarke in Secret Invasion when she gets Drax arms.
She can win any arm wrestling competition, right? It's a cosmic arm wrestling competition with Doctor Doom.
It's like that episode of SpongeBob where he gets the inflatable like muscle arms. And that's all he has, and the rest of his body.
So Eccentric Videra says, was that a swollen credit thumper?
Yeah, she wishes. That was her. Speaking of wish fulfillment, though, we finally reached to this part of the show. Okay?
Oh my God,
this is going to be so good. This is so
Cider
amazing.
and I have gone down this rabbit hole over the weekend. Like this popped up on my tweet popped up on my feed from a Japanese Twitter user about Thomas Lockley on Wikipedia. And I just was so shocked. It was Romley that translated it. If you don't know who Romley is, he translates a lot of the insanity that's happening on Japanese Twitter. And I saw this, I'm just like, whoa, what is going on here? This is just insane. And the more I looked, I saw one person say that this goes as far back as 2012.
Yeah.
And it's just him that it's the mastermind behind the Yasuke Wikipedia page is this man.
Well, they don't know about him yet. Hold on.
Yes, you get into it.
They need a minute. They need a minute to get caught up on what we know.
I'm sorry.
So, in Japan right now, if you're not aware, in Japan right now, there is a controversy over the Assassin's Creed Shadows game. Now, it's not just because of Yasuke. It is because Ubisoft has gone through and they've decided to steal protected Japanese cultural iconography and imagery. Now, in Japan, they have passed laws that certain historical images, certain historical shapes, certain historical symbols cannot be reproduced for profit, unless it's like education, right? You're selling textbooks, that sort of thing. But you can't make movies out of it. You can't make anime out of it, and so of course Ubisoft did not care, so they incorporated this not only into their concept art, but also into the final product, along with getting the era's architecture wrong and incorporating environments from Myanmar, Russia, and Korea into the Sengoku era that are not at all native here, along with confusing Chinese kanji, Chinese characters, with Japanese characters, and mingling them in not only with just game assets, but with real-world items that they have sent out to streamers. It got so bad, they sent out a gift box that has a tiny replica of the sword that Yasuke uses in it. This isn't about Zoro, by the way, but this is a tiny little sword in it. And it says, it's meant to say Oda's sword on it, like Nobunaga, Oda Nobunaga's sword, but they screwed up. And it says Ichiro Oda's sword, the guy that made One Piece.
Good. It's so funny. They literally just went on Amazon and said, Japanese sword, buy, click, let's go.
No, Spencer, no. This isn't about Zoro's sword. That's a whole different thing. They actually produced a tiny, they produced a Yasuke statue, and it had a special case for it. I must have got rid of the bookmark when I was done with the video. But they produced this, and so he carries a sword separate, and you can give him the club. The sword comes in a special box that has Nobunaga's sword on the side of it, Oda Nobunaga's sword, written in kanji on the side of it. But because they screwed up and they weren't paying whoever was in charge of doing this, it says Ichiro Oda's sword on the side of the box in gold leaf, dude. Like, it's not just like some cigar box that they taught. This is a custom box.
Oh my God!
Beautiful. Just, I don't even know what to say. Just mwah.
This rabbit hole gets even better and better.
So it gets even worse. They went on to the internet and so what happened over this past weekend, despite all the other news that took place, what happened over this weekend was the Japan Expo in Paris. At the Japan Expo, Ubisoft France sent out a team to represent Assassin's Creed. And at that convention, they purchased for it a cosplay sword that belongs to Zoro from One Piece. Okay, so this is a here it is. Here's the box. Hold on, I found the box. I'm sorry, I didn't go deep enough. So here it is. Here's the box right here, guys. This box right here says Ichiro Oda's sword.
Incredible.
Oh
That's what that says.
Incredible.
No notes. Sent this out to streamer right here. So the sword that's in it is this sword right here. It's meant to be attached in here. This is the sword that's in there.
Whoa, freaking way.
That's what's in the box. And it says Ichiro Oda's sword on the side of it.
Oh my God.
It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So I'll get back to where I was headed with this, but so what happened was they went on to Etsy, I think. I'm not sure. It looks like it looks like foreign Etsy, I guess, where they went and got this. It's like some kind of Polish Etsy, And they're in France, so that's
Polish.
understandable.
Oh, my camera's not on. Whoops.
Well, they're in France, so I mean that's understandable. So here it is. There it is. I'm sorry, guys. I'm disorganized. I got distracted earlier. We were talking about
See,
Captain
big
America.
muscle lady just completely broke her brain.
Yeah, it was Captain America, whatever. But so the situation is that we'll see it right here. We'll bring it up. What we're looking at. They bought it right here. Okay, they bought this right here. This is a katana for One Piece Zoro Sandai Kitetsu, right? And this is a stand for it. And this is basically Earth, Wind, Fire, Heart, whatever. I don't know. And so here's the sword, okay? Now I want you to pay attention to that sword. Just drink in the visuals on that sword for a minute here, all right? While I go back and get the announcement tweet from Ubisoft France itself.
So red, so shiny, so very, very clearly
and it's got a
fictional.
thing in the middle, right? It's got a thing in the middle. Most importantly, there's a thing in the middle. And
Now,
I want to show you.
Thing.
Yeah, I want to show you why that's important
A
because
glorious thing.
here we are. Here's Ubisoft France saying katana and Yasuke's mask. All right. So here's Yasuke's mask down here made of rubber. Here's the sword. Notice the stand? Okay. Let's go back over and take a look at the stand again. You take a look at that stand? Here's the stand again. Oh, it's the same one.
Exact same
Now
one.
wait. Take a look at that sword. Let's zoom in on that sword so we can get a good look at that middle part. Hey, look at that. Look at that. There's little things right here. But wait, guys. Let's zoom in even further. There's lines. There's little drawn lines on that sword. Isn't that weird? That there's little drawn lines on that sword and
which are very much the stylistic
look
choice
at
Oda
that.
does for Zoro.
Look, there's lines right there on the sheath of the sword. You can see it over here too. Here's the line again. So it is Zoro's sword that they stole, that they bought off of Polish Etsy and put it on display in the real world. This isn't like an AI thing that accidentally generated a copy. They deliberately bought this and set it up in public and said it was Yasuke's sword. Okay? This isn't even the lie yet, by the way. We're not even to the lie yet.
This is the setup for the lie.
This is the setup for the lie. And what I'm about to show you, like, it's not graphic, but it is going to infuriate you beyond measure if you're a person that takes
beyond human recognition.
Well, it really is important. Okay, so this is Thomas Lockley, and they call him Wish.com Tom Cruise. So this is discount Tom Cruise, dollar store Tom Cruise. So this is what we're dealing with.
Tamu Tom Cruise.
He wrote a book in the early 2000s that is called Yasuke, the True Story of the Legendary African Samurai. And this is where everything that Ubisoft got their information about this came from. This guy is the singular source claiming that Yasuke was a legendary, respected, armed, and prolific samurai. This is him. This is the only person doing this, okay? Now, what he did to do this was he went and he edited Wikipedia articles about Yasuke, citing his own books and promoting them, by the way. So not only did he make himself the source, right? Not only did he make himself the source on this, but he profited off of doing that. He drove people to his Amazon listing on this book, okay? Through Wikipedia, mind you. So what was happening this was going on, as Nerdigan said, since 2012, when he himself created the Yasuke Wikipedia page for the first time. It did not exist until 2012. And from that point on, anybody that was Japanese that went in and put actual information that was known and studied about Yasuke in there, Thomas would be in there within a day, editing it back out into him, crediting him again. I can't find the screenshots. I think Grumps took down the post. I don't know. But there were screenshots of him arguing with Japanese historians in the editor's lounge of Wikipedia for years. Years they were going on in this chat room. This isn't like a quick little thing. Exactly. You need to stop. I will not stop. You need to stop. I will not stop. It went on and on and on. So what happened finally? What happened finally was that whole chat log, those 12 years of arguing with this dickhead finally met the public, and he deleted his social media and disappeared from the internet.
Oh, you forgot to mention in 2018 he got busted for trying to create a wiki page, another wiki page for like his book or something, for a different book or something.
Yeah,
like
no, for himself. He was
for
making
himself,
a page
that's what it
for
was.
himself, and they were like, "You can't do that! Like, get out of here!" And they it was a battle for like a year.
So
Yeah.
now you might be thinking like, oh, okay, so he pulled the wool over the eyes of Japan. So what he is in reality is an English teacher. That's all he is. He's not a historian. He didn't study history at all. He doesn't speak ancient Japanese. He doesn't even read ancient Japanese. Okay?
But it's stuff in textbooks too, they found.
Well, this is what I'm about to get into, right? I just want to clarify who this guy is. So he's an assistant professor at Nihon University. Now, Nihon University is DeVry for Japan, okay? It's Phoenix. It's they have a history, in fact, of
it's a Westwood from Japan.
It's a college where what they do is they protect outsiders there. This college is notorious for protecting abuses committed by Americans, drug abuses, as well as rape, all sorts of... If you can think that it can happen on a college campus, this place is trying to cover it up.
Oh, damn, it really is Westwood.
Yeah, and so, so now we move into the next problem with this guy. He's cited by Encyclopedia Britannica, okay? Encyclopedia Britannica cites this asshole because he made himself so prolific in the editor's lounge of Wikipedia and putting out his books that other texts began quoting him, okay?
It looks like, I looked in the replies for that. It said someone said that it was updated in May of 2024. So he's not there anymore. But up until then, he was.
So you can see right here, written by Thomas Lockley, Yasuke, Black Samurai. Okay? I'm sorry, I had the wrong page open. Nope, that's not the one. There it is. Here's the right page. My apologies. So as you can see, that's written by Thomas Lockley. Okay, and that's July of 16th of 2024 right there. So that's yesterday. So that was last updated yesterday. Again. So this is the thing, is that this has become such a problem that this guy has infected with the world, his fan fiction, okay? Ubisoft took his word as law, invested several $1 million into this project, have pissed off people across the world defending this guy's fan fiction, and he ran away. He packed it in and said, "You got me, I'm outie, catch you on the flip." And he left. He left them high and dry.
He dead ass said, "You'll never catch me alive."
Yeah. And so
they're still catching him though.
And no, whoa, careful there, Josh. Blast game, no. Whoa.
He can say it. He can say it.
Okay, I guess
he's half.
All right, so there we go. There you go. Yeah, right. But okay, bye. But so the problem with doing this, okay, is that Yasuke was a real person. By taking Lockley's reality, his false reality, and placing it into the game, in a game that they're claiming is a faithful recreation, they've caused a problem. Yasuke had a very real and very honorable position as Nobunaga's sword bearer. I'm told by our Japanese audience that replied to the video exposing this guy.
A lot of them, yes.
Yeah, that Yasuke actually didn't even have that job. That he was part of Nobunaga's entourage because he was tall and wide through, so he looked scary, and Nobunaga had a couple other guys that were like that. So they looked pretty formidable walking around behind him. And so that was basically what Yasuke was, is they had him walk around as like just scary. He was just bigger than most people, and so people didn't screw with Nobunaga in a time when people were screwing with daimyos quite a bit. And so I'm told that he was only ever given an ornate dagger. That's what the audience is telling us, is that from what the Japanese know of him, is that he walked with Nobunaga, he was big, and that's why Nobunaga gave him around, and he was given an ornate dagger, basically a kunai that had more dance and prestige to it than Naruto's. and that was basically the only weapon that he was anointed with. He may have picked up a sword here and there, but he did not was not given one by Nobunaga, according to the audience. So I
But
default
then
to
here's
him
the
being.
thing, though.
Go ahead.
But then here's the thing, though. Like, you would think that Ubisoft, if they were smart and not hiring a further Japanese consultant, basically a glorified yaoi expert, let's be real, the Japanese consultant would have been like, no, we're not going to look at a Wikipedia page. We're going to actually look at the real history here and give our audience a history lesson.
Eccentric Banana, I'm not even sure he was a bouncer. From what the audience tells us is that he was just a really big guy, and that was why he was around. Nobunaga was like, you're really scary looking, and I want you around so that my enemies take a second thought in screwing with me. And that's it. Like, as we've said before, Nobunaga tried scrubbing the black off the guy several times, not even just once.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, and again, like, we're told by the audience too that Nobunaga treated him very much like a slave. That he was not treated like a samurai. He was not given the like a lordship. That this is again Thomas Lockley's invention of Yasuke. But what we must remember, right, is that Yasuke arguably in 1500 was most likely the only African walking through. In the late 1500s, probably the only African on the entire island chain of Japan. And because he was not immediately killed, okay? Like, you got to remember, this isn't like modern time when you see a picture of a black guy at some point in your life and you see one in real life, you go, oh, wow, okay. That's not how that works. They had no clue that someone like Yasuke existed. Not that he was tall, but that he was black. They'd never encountered anybody. The Russians aren't that color. The Filipinos aren't that color. The Polynesians aren't that color. There was nobody that looked like that. And so by the grace of God, the Japanese had mercy on Yasuke. When any other culture would have perceived him as a monster by any other measure. Because again, they'd never seen anybody that looked like him. But Nobunaga, for whatever reason, had a gigantic heart and said, you know what? I like this guy. I'm going to keep him. Yes, he's going to be on a leash, but I'm going to keep him alive. I'm going to feed him. I'm going to give him a purpose and teach him Japanese, apparently. And we have to recognize just how unique and beautiful that is, that this guy wasn't trapped in being a Jesuit slave in the European function. He was made a military man. He was basically marched around and made to be this scary, don't screw with me guy. It may have made him feel lonely and alienated, but you know what he wasn't doing? Weird tasks for these hyper Jesuit dudes that had some really crazy ideas about the world, especially the Portuguese ones. So I'm more than thankful that Nobunaga was the one that set in with Yasuke and I would say liberated him from European style bondage, I guess would be the best way to put it. He was still in bondage, but liberated him from European style bondage. Meanwhile, Lockley would have you believe that Nobunaga was like treating Yasuke as like this advisor and asking him like ideas on how to handle his foes. And Yasuke's fighting side by side, shoulder to shoulder with Nobunaga through these battles as his equal and things like that. And he was some respected figure. And this is nothing close to the truth. And that's not bad. I don't know why it's not enough that the Japanese didn't kill the guy and gave him armor and gave him a purpose and a name. They didn't stick him in a zoo.
Because you can't make him the protagonist otherwise.
Bingo.
That's true.
Yeah, again, it's not about historical accuracy or good stories or anything. It's just about validating the neoliberal perspective on everything. That's all media is nowadays. It's, yes, you are the greatest. Yes, everything you do is the best. That's right. Every decision you've ever made is great, and anything that's bad that's happened to you is everybody else's fault. Like, that's what they want to push, and that this is just more of the same.
Well, look at Genshin Impact. That's the best example of this.
Yep. Well, and so, we have it brought up to here that, there's this, we'll hear about this when you have a discussion about Yasuke. People say, what's the difference between Yasuke and William Adams? William Adams, who was the white guy that was it
Neo!
Nobunaga that held him captive? I don't know if it was Nobunaga.
I want to say it was before that, so
Yeah,
it
it was
might not
way
have been
before
him.
Nobunaga,
Yeah,
because like it was 1575 when Yasuke was in the service of Nobunaga, and that would mean that Nobunaga would have to be over 100 years old at that point to have had Williams, who was like early 1500s when he arrived. But you could be right. I don't know. I'm not. I'm not a Japanese history expert. I was a hobbyist. I like to study their culture. I don't like to tell them about their culture. I don't tell them. But
well, that's because you don't have your own Wikipedia page yet. Once you go make
It's
that,
true.
then you can have all the authority to go tell them how to live their lives.
But the problem is that you're going to hear William Adams come up a lot. They're going to try and compare that. William Adams arrived on the shore having not been able to make contact with South America. The Portuguese and the Spaniards had taken the area where the English had cited to be their landing part, and so they had to keep going. Their secondary plan was to go to Japan. The problem is that after pirates, storms, and scurvy, only 8 crew members survived to get to Japan. All right? So when William Adams arrived, he was in no condition to be doing any bargaining. What happened was that he basically, what happened was when the Japanese finally found out who he was and how he, let me just shorthand this. You guys are aware of the Shogun show?
Yeah.
John Blackthorne is William Adams. That's who William Adams is.
Pretty much, yeah.
So what became valuable about William Adams was that he had a connection to the English crown, and the Japanese didn't want to end up speaking Portuguese because the Portuguese were very powerful in Japan at that time through trade. And that's what William Adams is to them. He did become an advisor because he was in charge of being a trade ambassador for England. And it's true, he was held hostage. They did not let him leave. He had to marry. He never got divorced from his English wife. He kept sending her money and letters. And like, I'm sorry, I got to get married to this other woman.
Decision of his life.
I can't be a pussyless samurai. There's a rule, dude. So he's writing a letter back like, I'm sorry. He sends her money and things like that. But he ended up marrying a Japanese woman. There's statues of him all over Japan. They love William Adams because he basically pushed Japan up to what was considered a first world status by his influence. See, he didn't just help them with trade. He taught them how to build European-style battleships. So they were able to basically conquer China in the way that they did because of Adams, handing them the technology to just carry out endless sieges on the coast of China and Korea. And that's why he's a hero to him, is they allowed them to fight back in a time where they weren't doing a lot of that. So, but that's it. Now you know why this is a problem, is this guy completely fabricated another man's life and now has run away for doing it. And the Japanese, like, I got really mad. I got to the point where sweat was running down my face the other day when I was making a video about this. I was so mad about this. And the Japanese sending messages back in reply saying, thank you for being angry with us. Thank you for feeling the rage of the Japanese people as well. And I that wasn't my intent. I'm not out here to try and be an avatar for that, but I'm just glad that I didn't overshoot the mark. I'm glad that they feel as pissed off as me about this.
But Cider, the thing that shocked me the most was seeing Lockley's history in Japanese textbooks. I was just so surprised by that it made it to Japanese textbooks of all things. And the textbooks are for from what I saw, it was for for foreigners, because it was written in English and Japanese. But like how they one person was saying from how they fabricated the end of Yasuke's life was just so like bizarre. And they were saying like there was like multiple like African people in Japan at the time too, which was really bizarre too. And it was like I was like, what is this? What is this? But you have the thread for that, right, Cider? Showing that, or do you need it? Because like
those
the thread of the textbook, because I posted it in the Slack a while ago when I found it. but
Oh, I do remember you showing it. It's there somewhere. It's probably buried, considering how often all of us talk to each other.
Oh no, I got it. I got it right here. Hold on. We'll just bring it up on as an image file. Here we go. So.
But yeah, this is the textbook that they found.
It says it's not Assassin's Creed, but there's already a page in a Japanese history textbook with the name of a certain university professor listed as Nobunaga's black samurai Yasuke. It might be one thing if it was Wikipedia, but this isn't this a bit excessive to put such unconfirmed imaginary history in a Japanese history book? And that's the plan.
Well,
that
that's
has
one
been
of
the
them.
plan. Yeah.
This is one of them. But yeah.
Yeah, and that's the plan about this. And then we have this next one here. We'll just zip right over to it. There you go.
This is the one that I was the most, well, the first one I was really shocked about, but like this whole thread, I was like, whoa.
So look, you can see the English that they provided us here in this piece. And forgive me, we do have a Japanese audience member, and I'm not able to read kanji, so I'm trying to do two things at once: read this and translate your messages. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just two worlds at the moment. That's all. So this piece right here, as you can see, it has an English translation on the side, and it says, "Biggest and strongest men." He's a man from Africa who came to Japan via India. He was a bodyguard of a European missionary, and was soon picked out and employed by as a powerful man of the period. And he was, of course, chose by Nobunaga. So again, the text up here that's been translated from the tweet says, Thomas Lockley, Japanese culture and history that foreigners really want to know in English. Tokyo Shoseki 2019. It seems to be a book to introduce Japanese culture and history to foreigners in English, which I looked at the entry for Yasuke, and suddenly it said he is the strongest in medieval Japan, something that has no clear basis whatsoever. And that's the truth. There's no evidence that Yasuke even participated like head on in a battle. Was he on the battlefield with his lord? Most likely. Everybody usually went to the battles who was, able to die for them, And
but this is like glorified fan fiction. Like this is, gotta wonder if Ubisoft is using this kind of thing too, like taking from this, and not just the Wikipedia. Because my God.
Well, no, we are. We've seen them. Commit to this. They've said.
Yeah, I think we have confirmation of that.
He is almost a whole other Japanese person taller than Naue. Okay, his club is taller than most of the enemies in the game. And that's solid iron that he's carrying, as well as solid iron armor that he's walking around in. And he's doing all these fantastic, speedy moves with all this. So, of course, they're saying he's super strong. You'll probably see Yasuke grab a hold of a gate and just lift it right up over his head without any trouble. You know what I mean? And because, again, strongest and most powerful. You saw him in the gameplay preview. He pulls out that club and wipes out 4 guys with it. It's ridiculous. But that's what this is doing here, is it's teaching people, like, if you're new to Japan and you want to get introduced to the culture, Thomas Lockley came through and said, Psst, let me tell you about this black guy. Super important. Super important. Japan wouldn't be Japan without this guy.
Hey kids, you want this diversity? Diversity? Get over here.
Yeah, he's like in an alleyway with a trench coat. He just opens up a bunch of AI pictures.
Bingo.
So there's a trench coat and a pimp cane.
Oh my God, no, but Cider, they were saying that Yasuke was happily married with the family, and I just was like, wait, what? That is not right. Didn't he leave Japan or something after Nobunaga committed seppuku?
Apparently there was a message, there was a letter or something that suggests that, but I've never, I can't find anybody that like out and out confirms that. There's a lot of people that say it happened, but I haven't seen the letter yet. I can't find it. I see a lot of people talking about it, but I've never seen the letter that confirms that, hello, this is Yasuke. I am in New York now, and I work as a hot dog salesman. There's
but him living happily as a married man, that just sounds like fan fiction after everything that's happened.
Entirely. And that wouldn't, is that any more crazy than anything else that has happened in this silly franchise? And that's where we're at, is that they have Ubisoft completely embraced this insanity.
It's this is just straight up fan fiction, and it's frustrating because, as we've talked about before, like Ubisoft, the Assassin's Creed series has been used for educational purposes.
Well, and that's a good trend that's going to stop.
Which makes it sound even more sinister, all things considered, right?
Mm-hmm. It sounds like they're trying to rewrite Japanese history to fit their liberal narrative.
Seems like that is what they're doing. It's not even seems like, that's just straight up what it is. Oh, my camera's not on.
Well, and speaking of liberal narratives, right, to pirouette out of one bad idea and into another bad idea, Jack Black has decided that he doesn't want to do music with Kyle Gass anymore because Kyle wants to kill the president.
Oh no, what happened?
Yeah. Oh no.
Oh no, what happened? Yeah, exactly. Oh no, what happened? So yeah, in case you guys didn't hear, so over the weekend, something happened. I heard there was a big hubbubaloo. I guess people are talking about it. You might have heard some news. It's
look, guys. The CIA may or may not have been involved. We can't confirm that right now, but I mean it's floating out there.
You mean a certain incident?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, a certain possibly backed incident, but yes. As we all know, over the weekend we saw a genuine assassination attempt on former president, current presidential candidate Donald Trump. Absolutely insane. I'm sure everybody here has seen all the footage, all of the pictures. Trump's obviously back on his feet. He's at the RNC. I know he was there last night. I don't know if he's there tonight, but there's everything is sort of like just going really, really crazy at this moment. And, obviously in the aftermath of it, you had people not being very smart with their takes, letting their emotions get the better of them, if you will. And you had a lot of people celebrating the attempt, lamenting the fact that the attempt wasn't successful, encouraging more attempts, so on and so forth. One of those people happened to be Kyle Gass of Tenacious D. So if you guys don't know Tenacious D, that they are a comedy band duo fronted by Jack Black and his longtime friend, Kyle Gass. They were performing in Australia on Saturday, on the day it happened, or Saturday, Sunday, whichever day it was. International date lines are weird, but whenever it happened, they performed on stage, and it was Kyle Gass's birthday. Kyle said, or Jack saying happy birthday to him, and then said make a wish, and Kyle said next time don't miss, in reference to the shooting. And that has led to a plethora of backlash of and you've got everybody from regular individuals in America to Australian senators being mad to concert venues themselves. So we've had a lot of development on this entire situation. But yeah, let's take it.
Our good buddy Orange actually did make a very good point about this, and this is probably what kicked off all of these events, is that when he made that comment, obviously this is like the same day after the assassination attempt that everyone saw, so it's like still fresh in everyone's mind. Yeah, literally the day it happened. So when he made that comment, obviously people were infuriated, and what happened was a lot of the content venues is like, okay, a dum-dum, you just made like literally all of our venues a target of a possible retaliation from someone who may have been upset by what you said, and there's no way in hell we're going to be liable if someone tries to do something very, very stupid with you in our building. So yeah, we're just going to go ahead and cancel your events like moving forward. And then of course, obviously, no one really knew. I mean, I'm not going to say no one really knew, but obviously with Jack Black on stage, Jack Black being the bigger star was getting the more heat towards this whole situation. So when the heat started to go towards him, Black made a comment immediately afterwards saying that, hey, look, I was completely blindsided by this whole thing. You know, look, I may have said that Trump's an asshole and he's Hitler and all these other bad things in the past, but I don't want to kill the guy, allegedly, at least not in public. But so there, so he had to back away from his comments, and then the next thing you know, the whole thing just snowballed and fell apart. And now it's like he's just completely distancing himself from this guy altogether because he realized, hey, look, at this point of our careers, I have far more shit to lose than you do. So I'm gonna need you I'm gonna need you to take the bullet on this one because I'm not gonna torpedo my career based on what you said.
Bowser pays pretty well.
Bowser, Kung Fu Panda, like
Jumanji is like
yeah, he's got his full on career. I forgot about Jumanji. That's right.
So
I heard
and not only that, isn't he supposed to be in that new Borderlands movie that's coming out in a couple weeks too?
Oh yeah, he is. He 100% is. Yeah, he's Claptrap. That's right. That's a good point.
So Jack Black has far more to lose right now than this other guy. So.
And maybe even Brutal Legend might come back someday.
No, that's never coming. That's never happening. Nobody here but me knows what you're talking about.
I know Brutal Legend. I played it with
nobody but me, Insider, and you know what we're talking about.
I played it with a Guitar Hero controller. That's how nuts I was.
I remember that. It was possible.
Yep. And so, but yeah, it was the game was absolute nuts. But yeah, I guarantee you they'll make a Netflix special, but I forget the protagonist's name. He'll end up being, I think it was just Jack Black, wasn't it? Was it just Jack Black?
It was basically Jack Black in design and everything. He had a name. I think it was Eddie, but it was basically just like,
okay,
this is Jack
Black.
But they'll make him black and gay. That'll be the twist in Netflix. Yeah.
Don't
but anyway,
ruin it, Netflix. If you
Kyle Gass is also involved heavily with a few Adult Swim properties. I ended up going through Twitter and finding that out. He's at least attached to the Smiling Friends show.
Oh no, that's
good
right.
Show.
I forgot about that.
So you'll probably see them come out and say some things about him very soon, as they released an immediate fan art picture of their characters arranged in the Donald Trump fight pose. Right after the incident, they said, "We love our president."
Well, that was more. That wasn't from them. That was from somebody else. That was just a complete piece of fan art.
So it got retweeted by them. Okay, I thought it was their thing. My bad.
They're not. They're probably not taking a political stance at all.
That's true. It's Adult Swim. They're pretty clean. But there again, Cartoon Network's gone, so I don't know what their standard is anymore.
Who knows who's in control of that anymore?
Right. So Kyle Gass will likely get tossed out of his associations with Adult Swim next, because I'm not sure that they're really... Well, you notice this with the CNN reports that are going around. You've seen the hosts that are changing their speech like mid-sentence because they've realized they've, again, like called for violence against Trump. They're so used to casually calling for violence against this guy. And so you'll see more Kyle Gass situations approach now, because it's been made clear what happened to Alex Jones will happen to you now. If you go out there and you shoot your mouth off, Destiny got his shit kicked in. Now Kyle Gass has got his shit kicked in. The next guy that does it will get his shit kicked in. This is now what's happening, is that if you go out and you say you want to kill Biden, you're getting canceled. If you say you want to kill Trump, you're getting canceled. There's no one-way street on this.
Whatever happened to just laying low? Like, remember when that was a thing? Remember when the Iggy used to go out to people just like, hey, no, just don't say nothing for the next couple. Like, just lay low, let the heat die down.
That's sort of where I like that. What you're seeing here is the social mediaification of everything. Like, so my personal stance on this is: was it a stupid thing to say? Absolutely. Should Kyle have to do this struggle session and make all these apologies and get completely canceled? No, I think that's the exact same thing we've been fighting against forever. Obviously, I don't condone what he says. I don't agree with it. I think he was an idiot, but that's sort of what we have been fighting against this entire time. Damn it, I lost my train of thought. Somebody else take it. It'll come back to me.
I don't...
Go ahead, Tyler. You go ahead.
I just want to say that I don't think that Kyle should be canceled. I don't think Kyle should be canceled like in mass. I think if businesses decide that he is again causing liability for them, they should get away from him. Just like Robert Downey Jr. beating an elderly couple with a baseball bat in their own home after thinking it was his, put an ice cube on his career for a few years.
For just a little bit.
Maybe Kyle takes some time in Tijuana, or what was it, Tahiti? It's a magical place, and he comes back a little different, maybe.
Yeah, no, but that's what I was saying. But yeah, with like laying low, like, should he be canceled? No, he was stupid for saying it. But I just don't understand. You don't have to weigh in on everything. You don't have to publicly go out and go, here's all of my like really like dark, deep secrets on everything. You don't have to do that. You can, I guarantee there are thousands of people out there who either would have been happy, Trump, if it happened to Trump. There are people out there who would be celebrating if it happened to Biden, right? But most of these people aren't going to go out and go, yeah, let's rail on it. People need to start learning, like, to self-filter them.
But is this part of the problem, though? Let's ask this question here. Is this part of the problem? Because we talked about the bubble that the people in Hollywood have created for themselves, right? And did he make this joke thinking that, I'm on stage with Jack Black and I know that he hates Trump, and I'm pretty sure that our fans hate Trump too, so I can basically get away with saying this with no blowback whatsoever? Because here's the thing. I understand that there's a lot of people, like, there's been this big debate over the last couple of days about libs of TikTok and what's going on with that whole situation, and people are upset that look, there's a lot of people on the left who's been making, let's be very clear here, mostly the same comments that they've been making for almost a decade now when it comes to their extremism, and now it's coming back to bite them in the ass. So now we're having this whole debate. It's like, well, is this cancel culture? Should we supporting this? Like, here's my thing. Is it right or wrong? I don't agree with it, but here's the reality of the situation is that there's a lot of people out there who have been fucking around for quite some time, and I'm not going to start like getting really upset now because now they're starting to find out, because in reality, people on our side have been dealing with this for the last 10 years, and no one has ever come to our defense about anything, and now they're expecting, well, now it's happening to us, so you guys are the principled ones, you have to defend us. I was like, do we really know? Do we really have to?
Here's where I come in on this. I agree. I get the sentiment of they've been doing this to us for forever. It's just retribution. Shoes on the other foot now. They got what's coming to them. There is 100% truth to that. And I do not fault anyone for feeling that. It's Schadenfreude, right? Like, I feel it too, going, you get what's coming to you. But at the same time, there has to be a point where everybody on every side is just operating on vindictiveness. To me, I see this as a point to go, yeah, exactly. That's what happened to us. Now, can you stop doing that? And let's use this as a movement to move forward. Yes, that's going to, take some humility on, our end, but going, yes, we're not going to get revenge or anything back for what happened, but we are going to move forward. It sucks. I get it. It's what happens in arguments sometimes, but continually going like, they did it to us, now let's get them. Then we're just going to keep devolving until everybody is big brothered, until everybody can't say anything, until everybody is getting canceled for everything.
And I get that. Like, I'm not even arguing against it. It's just I said, at the same time, like, these people have been pushed. Like I said, we almost had a presidential candidate get assassinated last Saturday. Like, if it was just like, we mentioned this last night, if it was just a little bit to the right here, like, Trump wouldn't be with us right now. And a lot of these people who are getting in trouble right now, let's be very, very clear here. If that assassin did do what he was supposed to do, a lot of these people would be celebrating. They would be antagonizing. It would have been far, far worse than what we're seeing here right now. And I feel like that, when you can only push and prod people for so long before any kind of peaceful resolution to the problem just goes completely out of the window. And this is kind of like what we're seeing, because a lot of people just feel like, hey, look, we've just been sitting here taking it for so long. You know what? Screw all the rules that we had before then. Let them get a taste of their own medicine. Like, let them experience what we have felt for the last several years.
And I 100% understand that. And I'm like right there with it, where it's, I genuinely find it hard to have sympathy for Kyle. But at the same time, I have to go, what does that accomplish? Like, yes, he gets hurt, but then they're just going to strike back at us. Then we're going to strike back at them. And we just keep circling around until everybody is, again, like, we put personal cameras in all of our houses so that we have proof that we've done nothing cancelable. Like, it's not productive.
This is what I've been saying. I said this on Twitter yesterday when I saw this. I'm like, because I don't believe in quote unquote cancel culture. I don't believe it. Never believed in it, because why? I don't feed into it. Don't feed into it and it will just
Right.
go away. Stop feeding into it. Stop giving it power. Reason why it's even happening in the first place is you give it power. The consequences are happening. It's the cause and effect situation, cause and effect theory. You have it happening right now. These people are getting their, as Spencer said, they're getting their comeuppance. They're, as Jacob said, they fucked around and they're finding out. Let the universe do its thing. Just let God do his thing. Just
well, what I want to
stay out of it.
what I want to enter into this is that Kyle's situation is going to be repeated, like I said.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But the thing is that it is going to be for the right reason.
Exactly.
What this is going to do is that, Spencer, you're right. It is going to force people to chase them into thinking about the conversation you and Jacob are having right now. Well, I guarantee you the people in CNN that have had to change their conversation mid-sentence are thinking this right now. Like, okay, eventually I'm going to have to not say mean things about Trump because then I'll look like a hypocrite if I do. So they're being confronted with their truth. So maybe it doesn't lead.
Nice. Yes.
Maybe exactly their truth.
Their truth. Yeah, I like that.
When they are realizing this and they're seeing it, I don't think we're going to see like this massive "we're sorry" thing, but we're going to see their idea of retribution shift back to what it was in the early 2000s when you lose your job for your bad behavior, and that's it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with this.
When the corporation can't support you anymore is when you get lost. It's not going to be your life is over. They take your bank away. They take your ability to live in your neighborhood safely away. That's not going to be part of it. You're just going to get fired from your job because the corporation can't stand behind you.
Yeah, because as you and as Spencer and Cider were saying, is that you become a liability to the company.
Like Kyle.
Like Kyle's like,
I'm sorry, like
or in CNN's case, they're not doing their job; they're just reporting propaganda, or reporting propaganda is their job to an extent. Like CNN's supposed to be going back to reporting news, and that's
and you believe them?
Well, that's been the thing. But if they're reporting like going beyond the script at this point, then yeah, that's kind of a liability, especially if it's inciting violence like that.
Two things here. Like one, like now that this whole discourse is happening, where like I said, now leftists are being fired from their job based on things that they have said on social media, and there's like a huge uproar about it. All I can think of is like that Tom Brady meme when he's just in the courtroom, he turns around and just starts smiling because it's just like, yeah, this is what we've been going through ourselves for the last 10 years because this is what you guys have been doing to us. So it's like, yeah, it's not so fun now, is it? Right? Because I mean, this is exactly like I said, you reap what you sow. This is what you guys have been putting out here, and now it's come back to bite you in the ass. So it's like, on one hand, it's like, is it wrong? Maybe. I mean, is it right or wrong? Maybe not. But at the same time, I'm not going to like shed a tear for you. At the same time, like you're not going to force me to defend you on this topic, right? And then on the other side, just real quick on CNN,
completely fair.
There's a movie that came out. I think it was like 2003. It was called Live from Baghdad, and it was actually the story about how CNN rose to popularity in 1991, covering Desert Storm. Right, and I think to myself, it's like Michael Keaton, Helen Bonham Carter's in the movie, a couple of other people who are in that film as well, and it's basically telling the story about how CNN became like this big 24-hour news network. And I think to myself, like, what happened to like that CNN? Because I know it sounds weird to like some of you people listening, but it wasn't that long ago where CNN was considered a neutral news site. Like maybe that was like a facade there for a while, but at least like before Trump, like people at least alluded to that to some degree. And it's like, did that whole thing die after Ted Turner basically like sold all the properties and what was like 2001, and then it just became like cluster? Because I mean, I'm trying to think like, was there a true, genuine journalist version of CNN like back in like 91, or have they just been BSing us like from the very beginning?
I'm gonna say it ended probably around the time Obama ran for president. I want to say that's when it ended, because I remember watching CNN when I was younger.
But even then, they would.
I would even go for Bush, like in Bush era.
Yeah,
Bush era, it wasn't as bad. It wasn't.
I don't know, because like in Bush era, we still had as much as we are harping on the,
Mhm.
for good reason and understandably, like going for all the rhetoric against Trump, you know, he's a Yahtzee, he's the end of everything, blah, blah, blah. They were leveling that at Trump, or I mean, at Bush. They were leveling that at Kane, at Romney. It's like the go-to
And to be
standard
fair,
for Republicans. Or
to
like
be
insult
fair,
against
like
Republicans.
obviously we're not Bush fans either, but to be fair, the reason why Bush was getting so much heat during that time period was because it's like everyone was super hot after 9/11 and they wanted to go to Afghanistan and find, you know, Osama bin Laden, even though he wasn't there. But then all of a sudden it's like, nope, we're going back to Iran and then Iraq. And it's like, wait, what are we doing here? Why are we back in Iran? And that's what it became. It's like, oh great, Bush got us back into like another like Middle Eastern conflict that we didn't need to be in, and the whole point of the whole thing. And that's why so many people turned against him. So at least there was like justifiable like reasons for his negative coverage, especially in his like last couple of years. But even then, when Bush
And also
was
the
sent us
economy,
to Iran,
you forgot about the economy in 2008.
was that after
2000
.com or no? You're talking about the later part. I thought you were talking about the .com
the
crash.
years. That's
you're
what I was
way
talking about
later.
too. In regards to that coverage, that's
Yeah.
probably another reason why too.
When all the banks just said, "Oops, we're out of money." This is gonna be
Money,
awkward for you guys.
please. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I said, it's crazy. But like I said, a lot of these people, it's like, you know, maybe if you just, you know, stop, maybe if you just stop, some of these things wouldn't happen to you. So,
Yeah, and like again, I know I'm taking the more the higher road, and I know a lot of people, for good reason, again, it's understandable why they won't, but you're going to see more of this. And unfortunately, I fear, because we've seen it time and time again, they're not like the cancel cultures, they're not going to take any moment of self-reflection. They're going to see it as an attack and go more against them, that we have to get them, without a hint of irony. Like they never will.
no, you know what it is? It's the equivalent of like watching like your two drunk uncles fight at the family reunion, and then right when someone goes in there to break it up, somebody just goes, no, let them fight. Like they need to get this out of their system.
Yeah, let them work it out. They got to get it out.
I mean, like the best example of this is like what Cider was dealing with with his critics of his Genshin video. They were calling him racist, and in all reality, they were the ones being racist. Right, Cider?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I just ran across a clip of Boogie 2988 or whatever,
Yeah.
like the fat Boogie man,
He's
threatening
going
to
off
kill
the
himself.
rails. Yeah, with the smallest of knives. So yeah, that whole situation. I know we're not a drama, like an drama stream. You can go for Keemstar for that. The boogie situation. My takeaway is like, how do you wake up with yourself in the morning? I don't know how.
Boogie is the textbook like example of why fame for a lot of people, probably the overwhelming majority of people, is probably the worst thing that can ever happen to them. Like, oh crap, are we getting to blow something up now?
I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, we have. Oh, that's right. We have the new capabilities.
No, it's still the old one.
Shamu.
The old one is still strong enough.
For this guy especially. Here we go.
Yeah, that's what happens when you fuck with SeaWorld, buddy.
That's what happens when you fuck with history. Let's be real.
The audacity. My favorite part about that entire thing is that he was making his own page. That to me is always like the most pathetic sign. When you go to oh gosh, okay. You want to know what Hawk Tua is, Leslie? I will explain it because it is the dumbest joke.
Oh my god, really?
It's so, I know it's so stupid, and it's just a glimpse into that other world that we do, that normie world we don't see, right? So basically, there was a YouTuber going around doing those on the street interview style things with like random people, and this girl, it was like a college sports game, went up to her, talked to her about, you know, oral sex, and she basically said, "You got to give that thing the Hawk Tua," like, you know, spitting on it, and then everybody thought that was, yeah, probably do it, cancel me. But yeah, everybody thought that it was the most hilarious thing ever. And I like, that's as far as I can go, because I am stunned by how many people think that it is so funny, because it's not. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's
it's one of those things that became a meme very rapidly, and it was just like, why? Like, it wasn't even funny the first time. Like you said, like, why is everyone pretending like this is amazing when it's not?
You missed it. You missed it.
It's
When did that happen? That happened right at the start of Pride Month. That woman came in and force choked Pride Month. Right, Pride Month was gone. As soon as she said "ooh," as soon as she finished that Hawk Tua, it was done. It was over. And that's what happened with it. And so she has a hat deal. She's been showing up at country music shows on stage. Well, the reason is that she basically came through in the middle of Pride Month and said BTW straight sex is best. Even though she was talking about oral sex, she's clearly talking about a woman giving a man oral sex. So
that's not fair. Women can have wieners too nowadays. Did you not get the updated memo?
You got me there. Those she-weens. Those she-peens.
Schweeners.
There we go. We'll see that on a bumper sticker soon. Schweenus on board. But
it's just
coming soon to the Bounding into Comics.
Straight face.
Coming soon to the Bounding into Comics merch store.
Right, yeah, you can get yourself a Schweenus on
fast.
board t-shirt. But yeah, her parents are not happy, but she's making close to $200,000 a month licensing out her likeness for t-shirts, hats, and she apparently has trademarked the Hawk Tua in its spelling. Or at least she's
that's actually probably a smart move. That's probably a smart move.
This woman has decided that this is her life now, is promoting sloppy oral sex. That's
and then when her 15 minutes is up.
Capitalism.
And then when
Dr.
15
Ruth
minutes is
died.
up, it's gonna be OnlyFans. We all know that's the next
Hey,
step.
Dr. Ruth died. Maybe Dr. Hawk Tua is the one that takes over. Dr. Tua. Dr. Tua.
I can't wait for Hawk Tua girl to be added on to this the next DLC for the next Super Smash Brothers game.
In the new Street Fighter game.
Fortnite. She's coming to Fortnite.
Yeah, the Hawk Tua skin. You're right. The Hawk Tua skin.
No, she's coming to Overwatch.
Oh, honestly, we're probably going to get like an Overwatch emote where she...
Guys, here's what I got to tell you. In the aftermath of the assassination attempt, right? They're going through and interviewing people that are still like lingering around the event space. There are two guys that are hanging out with a Hawk Tua flag. And they ask them, they say, who are you going to vote for? And they're like, Hawk Tua. And they're like, the assassination didn't change your mind? Like, no, Trump's a badass, but Hawk Tua is where it's at. And they got the flag right behind her. And I'm like, dude, like, you're going to regret this in 10 years when nobody remembers who the hell that woman is, but they remember you turning a cold shoulder to the president. That's what they're going to remember, buddy. I'm so sorry that Hawk Tua was worth your reputation. But there's also the joke that I love this. I can't find it. I've been trying to find it the whole conversation, but somebody mocked up a Bionicle with her face on it that says Hawk
That's
Tua
incredible.
down the side.
That's incredible.
Hawk Tua new from Bionicle. Hawk Tua.
Absolutely perfect.
But yeah, we're at the end of the show. We're talking about oral sex, so it's time to go.
Yep, it is. We are at the end of the show. We hit all of the main topics we were going to hit tonight. I think, did you guys talk about Ranma in the pre-show?
Yeah, we talked about Ranma.
Okay, good. I must have just, that was probably when I was going to make some food. But good, we for once we hit everything. We had some great discussions. We had some really, like, guys, it's all stupid out there. And if you want to go laugh at some Schadenfreude, at some people getting what their just desserts, I don't think anybody's really going to blame you. So you can all rest pretty easy, right?
And hopefully you don't lose brain cells in the process.
I mean, as long as they don't go watching whatever Marvel movie comes out next, Captain America, Agatha, Ironheart, that's your next lineup. That's everything we have confirmed. So, but I unfortunately have to watch it all because this is my job, but hopefully you guys can all save your money. But before we all sign off and go, lament the fact that we actually do have to watch all these Marvel movies, as always, I will let all of my good friends here let you know what they have going on, starting back with our normal rotation with Jacob.
Okay, so I watched Twisters tonight, so I'll have that review edited in tomorrow, so you guys should have that in for Friday regarding that movie. As far as any of my streams go, I know there's no stream on Friday. I got a Bible in stream on Sunday. Last week we talked about Christians not being able to lose their salvation. We'll go even further into that. That's going to be like a 3-part series that I'm working on right now. And then Tuesday, we got the bar room back. Last night, it was me, Cider, Orange, Eddie, Rob, and Rick. And we had a pretty explosive conversation about the whole Trump situation from this weekend. So definitely go back and check that one out, because we got pretty heated with that one. It was almost a Royal Rumble situation, but it was kind of good because it was a conversation that we needed to have. So yeah. Outside of that, it's probably going to be so hopefully it'll be a catch-up weekend for me this weekend, because I don't plan on doing too much. I still got to catch up with a few films, but outside of that I can go full steam ahead with next projects. So that's all I got coming up for now.
Awesome. Yeah, exciting. That was a super good stream last night. I was obviously in the chat, and all I will say is guys, if you go to alert the an authority figure that something might be happening, close your eyes first and make sure they're not glowing in the dark, because otherwise you're not going to have any success saving anybody. Absolutely Weird. Insane. Go watch the replay of Jacob's live stream. Obviously, him and Cider are there. You can get their takes on it. It's really good. And yeah, so check out all this stuff. I'm super stoked that you are back, obviously, because I love all your stuff. And I finally have noise to play in the background while I'm doing stuff. So welcome back. Go check out all of his stuff. And definitely go check the replay of last night's barroom stream. With that, Nerdigans, what are you working on over there?
So you guys can check out my channel, Nerdigans Inc., where I'm covering manga and anime every day, including a couple series after I get off of here. Something I've been doing for the past few weeks now is I have been doing my anime live reactions on Patreon, which is patreon.com/backergirl. I am doing my 2.5D seduction live reactions there. In the first episode, you can see for free, because you'll see how I do them that way. I'm covering 2.5D seduction, the elusive samurai, and Suicide Squad Isekai, and Fairy Tale 100 Years Quest right now on Patreon. Cat, be quiet. I'm doing something.
I will send you to a Chinese restaurant, damn it.
No, Kitty is just being fussy. I need to get him.
Send him to me. Feed me instead. I can do it on my own.
You can also follow me on Twitter right here, where I am posting all the insanity that is happening and trying not to lose brain cells in the process. On Bounding, my first of many 2.5 dimensional seduction. Many went live. I got to do an article on Katrina's wonderful masterpiece that is her localization, because boy, did she leave some wonderful treasures up in there. So I have that to do.
You're doing the Lord's work, Nerdigans. I will say that you're doing the Lord's work.
I'm the only one doing the Lord's work.
You are.
I'm not seeing anyone else covering it.
No.
Again, this is why I'm covering it on Patreon, so I can, get paid for it a lot faster.
So, to that point, one thing, you are kind of the only person I've seen covering this stuff. That's why everybody should trust Nerdigans. Go follow her stuff. She's got her fingers on the pulse. And just a quick question, Nerdigans. What of those animes you're watching right now, which one are you enjoying the most?
I think the one I'm enjoying the most, if we're talking about adaptation-wise, I'd say the Elusive Samurai is my favorite. Because one, it's not stiff like what JC Staff is doing animation-wise. Writing-wise, I'd say Fairy Tale 100 Years Quest is the best writing-wise, but animation-wise, the Elusive Samurai is doing some good stuff, even though will never be as good as Matsui's art, sadly.
Well, there you have it.
Recommendations.
Really oh no, I'm sure, yeah, but yeah, no. See, you guys got your recs. Go listen to that. Nerdigans has never steered, at least to me, wrong on a recommendation. So go check that stuff out. And before you go check that stuff out, let's check in with Ciderman.
Over on Bounding, we have a new Japanese audience. I've been tracking it. We're up to about 12% out of our 100% audience score, right? So 12% of that is our new Japanese audience. And if you see them around, just feel free to click that Google Translate button. Sometimes it nails it, sometimes it doesn't. So if it sounds wonky, try to work out what maybe the intended phrase was, judging by the context. But yeah, feel free to welcome them aboard. They are over the moon that there are Americans paying attention to the atrocities being committed against their culture on behalf of these corporations like Ubisoft and others that have found it's okay to take over Japan through corporations. And we're also covering the Genshin Impact situation. Now, I realize to some of our listeners out there that it might be a little weird to have this gaming tilt and into Japan culture so hard, but this is the culture that's become very popular in the West recently. And so I'd ask for your patience as we expand the audience out into the Japanese field, and we were going to continue covering situations with the Avengers, Disney, the Acolyte, all of the things we have been covering. But for the moment, we're just making a push into the Japanese now that we have a like significant topic to bring up with them. And that's all, guys. We're not a weeb channel. We're not a gaming channel. We're not going to start doing Let's Plays. We're just covering the current zeitgeist right now that's working the best for us, and that appears to be Genshin Impact and Assassin's Creed. So we will be talking to you more about those for a little while now, and we'll look forward to finding out just what the Russo brothers cook up for Avengers.
Oh, it's Jacob's favorite meme. It's going to be Jacob's favorite meme, the One Piece one. He ain't cooking nothing. Like that's 100% what it's going to be in the end. But yeah, I want to give a special shout out to Cider. He has been absolutely killing it with our YouTube coverage, getting our reach out there, covering the topics that nobody else is covering, and getting them fast. So Cider's killing it. Just want to give a shout out to him. You're the best. We couldn't be doing this without you. Yeah, like, subscribe to the channel. If you're here, you probably already are, but on the off chance you're not, hit it down there. Yeah, let's see. As for myself, as always, guys, thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. It means the world to us. We wouldn't be able to do this without you guys checking us out. So thank you for hanging out with us every Wednesday night. We look forward to it every week. And yeah, thank you guys for checking out the YouTube stuff lately and letting us grow this big. I know it's not just our new Japanese viewers. I know all of you guys are out there too. So thank you for everything. You guys are the energy here. You guys are what make it happen. So, but aside from that, aside from how awesome you all are, in terms of the site, boundingintocomics.com, every day for new updates. Go to the YouTube channel for Cider's unique takes and on big stories that are happening around our sphere. Nerdigans does have a lot of good anime content coming down the pipe. A lot of it is concerned with 2.5, what is it? 2.5 dimensional seduction, right? I always just say 2.5D.
Dimensional seduction.
I always just say 2.5D because I always
I say 2.5D seduction too. That's what I mainly call it is 2.5D seduction.
But yeah, Nerdigans is obviously on top of that. She's got it all going on. Go, bookmark Bounding, follow us on Twitter, follow us on YouTube, all that fun stuff. As always, you can come back next week for same bat time, same bat channel for another episode of the 01 stream here at Bounding Into Comics. Me, Jacob, Josh, Cider, Nerdigans, we hit you with the biggest pop culture news stories of the week, and hopefully we entertain you in the process. 9 p.m. Eastern Time Wednesdays. Hopefully you know that. That's why you were here. In the meantime, if you want to see more of me, you can follow me on Twitter at Kabuto Writer Mab. You can find my own personal channel at Studio Kabuto on YouTube, where I host a live stream Friday nights, 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Good Mab the Ugly, kind of just a general roundtable discussion with you guys about whatever topics might come our way, particularly things that might not get talked about in our sphere, anime, toku, all that fun stuff. That's up your alley. Come hang out. Also, in case you guys don't remember or you didn't catch last week, I am currently working with a few of the guys over at That Park Place, WDW Pro, Jonas, Culture Casino. We have launched That Game Place, where we will be giving you the same sort of breakdown content, but in terms of video games instead of Disney and general entertainment. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, come hang out with us. We have videos going up all the time. That Game Place on YouTube, and yeah. As always, stick around with us. We've got things cooking. We're always improving new content. New things are always in the pot. So stick around and hopefully we can make you happy. But until then, take it easy.
Good luck out there.